doesn't? Ain't nobody here, right? Nobody hears.
Far those or
You never chat.
I think that we need strong alpha males like Donald J. Trump, Spencer Pratt, and our loved Charlie Kirk.
Did you
On
just
this street,
ironically say strong alpha males?
we have laws in favor of women getting leadership roles. We're taking opportunities away from men. You are oppressed more than me.
Men are men, and men have testosterone, and men love beautiful women. And trust me, I would prefer a man that actually looks at women and is sexually attracted to women.
Dude.
They had to make things up to get Trump. Trump doesn't have to be a sexual predator. Any woman would love to be with Trump.
All right, listen, put your hand up if you would have sex with Donald Trump.
Oh God, dude. That's what I'm saying. It's a cult. 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 It's a cult.
has Donald Trump been a good president for women, or has America moved backward from expanding women's rights to debating how far those rights should go? I'm John Regalado, and from Jubilee Media, this is Surrounded, where one brave soul faces a room full of disagreeers. Today, we are diving into what feminism means on both sides of the aisle, abortion rights, and President Trump's record. I'm here with our featured guest, progressive commentator, Dean Withers. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
You ready to go?
Oh, I'm excited. This will be fun.
All right, are you all ready to debate Dean?
Yeah!
All right, let's get into it.
I'm Dean Withers. I'm a 21-year-old liberal. I do political debate for a living, and today I'm surrounded by 20 Trump supporters again. But this time, they're all women.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform. Describe what you want, and watch it take shape. You can plan, customize, and expand in any direction. From tools.
My first surrounded claim is, men aren't better at leading than women.
If you would like to debate this claim, please get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Good to see you again.
Welcome back, Lori. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing phenomenal. So the first claim is that men are not better at leading than women. And I'm honestly appalled that you as a woman would disagree. But I mean, if you want to start it off by telling us why you do think men are better at leading than women, the mic is all yours.
Well, how I would like to start this off is I'd like you to define what a woman is.
Well, sure. I think that the definition of what a woman is ultimately irrelevant to this debate, and I'm willing to assume I'm willing to pre-assume your definition of what a woman is, i.e. an adult human female. See, if I were to give you my definition of what a woman is, an adult human individual that pertains to the social and cultural characteristics typical that of a female sex indexed to their gender identity, well, then all of a sudden we're going to be speaking past one another because we define the word woman differently.
Exactly.
So I'm more than happy to pre-assume your definition.
In the first place is kind of silly because you don't know what a woman is.
Well, I just told you what my definition of the word woman is. You just simply overlooked it.
I think it would also depend on what leadership role that person would take. For instance, if you wanted Kamala Harris, who you voted for, to be the president of the United States, we have a problem with that, and I'll tell you why. It's not necessarily the woman, but it is necessarily foreign countries, for instance, the Middle East. If I go to a Middle East country as a woman, I can't show my hair at risk of being stoned.
Why are we talking about Middle Eastern countries when the prompt is men are not better at leading than women?
Because you're asking about leading. You voted for Kamala Harris. I think she would have been a horrible leader. Foreign countries don't always see women as respectful as they see a man. A woman leading this country, for instance, when you go to doing foreign policy and all of those things, they would not have the respect that a man would. I can also say as a woman, depending on your age, if I've got PMS, honey, I'm gonna make different decisions than I would as if I didn't. If I'm going through menopause, I might have hot flashes or whatever else. I believe as a Christian woman, men are supposed to lead. We're supposed to help. And I'm totally comfortable with that.
Okay, well, thank you, Lori. So the first thing that I'd point out here is that your position that maybe foreign countries wouldn't respect a female president as much as a male president, I don't think is represented through the fact that on the global stage, Harris had a significantly higher approval rating than Trump during the election. And there's a reason for that.
Because she would have been a pushover. They would have walked right over her.
And that's exactly why she had significantly better policy, better character, would have been a better president for America.
Not at all.
But ultimately, once again, Lori,
failure.
the topic of debate is not, was Harris a better option for the president than Trump? Because because even if we want to look at women and men on this macroscopic level of evaluating one woman compared to one man, even if it was true Harris was a clown and Trump was awesome, that still wouldn't mean that generally speaking, men are better at leading than women. The last point that you made there was about PMSing, and I think that you're like indicating that women are more emotional than men on average.
They are, 100%.
Okay. Then tell me why men commit 92% of violent crimes. Tell me why they're more likely to self-unalive, commit suicide. So you think that testosterone is what makes men more emotional?
Absolutely.
Let's get out of here.
Okay, well then you just conceded the debate.
No, I didn't concede.
You just said that
because
absolutely men are more emotional than men 5 seconds after saying that women were more emotional than men.
And that's kind of like somewhat of a red herring, because what I'm trying to say to you, women are more emotional. They just are in more of a, I can change my mind depending on my mood. Now, you're bringing in anger, you're bringing in violence, you're bringing in...
Is anger an emotion?
It is, but to a different extent. And honestly, if you've got a man that's violent, out of character alone, I don't want him leading the country.
Yeah, that's why you voted for...
Yeah, that's why you voted for a rapist.
You want to get into that? I know that's another problem, but I'm happy to get into that.
I guess we could get into that on the show.
He was never
accused. Gotcha.
Okay, we got to pause there.
He was never accused. Okay. That's just a different planet.
Good to see you, Lori.
If you would like to
just
be the next
different
debater,
planet.
please get to the chair. In 3, 2, 1.
Welcome, welcome.
Hi.
I'm going to give the mic to you. Why don't you tell us all why men are better at leading than women?
Men are better at leading because as a woman, I can tell you that we're emotionally manipulated very easy. We tend to be compassionate because we, as a woman, and getting pregnant, it's inherent in us. Why? Because we deal with babies.
So, women deal with babies, therefore women can be manipulated? I don't think that argument follows.
What?
But
women can be easily manipulated.
Women can be easily manipulated.
And convinced, yeah.
What's the argument for that?
It's inherent in us.
Okay, just saying that it's inherent is like me saying that what is actually inherent of women is that they can't be easily manipulated. That doesn't give me any substance to underpin your position when you just simply underpin your position by saying, well, it's inherent. And it doesn't push this dialogue.
Oh, my Cavern Master died. How'd he die?
Men are probably easier to emotionally manipulate than women, or else they wouldn't be culpable for 92% of violent crimes. We could emotionally manipulate a man by making him lose a game of Fortnite. The next thing we know, there's 3 holes in his walls. All right, same thing with self-unaliving statistics, suicide. Suicide's a really bad thing, but it is true that men are significantly more likely to kill themselves than women on average. Same thing with drunk driving, gambling. And then when we look at women, they actually perform better in the fields that are less indicative of emotional outbursts, such as performing well in school. And I mean, this is all underpinned by biology. There was a study done by the American Medical Association that proved that if you're operated on by a female compared to a male in the operating room at a hospital, that you're less likely to die or to experience any post-negative operative outcomes. Why? Because women are biologically designed to deal with stress and pain better than men because they have thicker dendrites in their brain. So ultimately, the science and the empirical facts completely reject the conclusions that you formed.
Not at all. Men are more rational, and women...
You've been voted out by the majority, so please return to your seat. If you want to be the next debater, please get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Hi.
Hi.
What's your name?
Annette Davis Jackson.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Yes, yes.
So, let's hear it. Why do you think that men are better at leading than women?
How about I know that men lead better than women? Because women have the babies, you're emotional, but more important, I have a dad. I have a dad who is very strong, and when I see what President Trump is embodying, I say, and I know that you can roll your eyes, but you know what my grandmother used to say, you can roll your cotton balls, but you sure can't shoot them. So men are strong just like Trump, because in the first day, first 100 days, what did he do? He started writing executive orders.
Yeah.
He started writing executive orders day after day after day after day after day after day. Women would probably say, hey, ooh, let me take a break. That's why.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Well, listen, clearly I disagree with you about Trump, but that's actually not relevant to my counter-argument. I'll tell you why. Because even if Trump was a good leader, that doesn't mean that therefore men are better at leading than women on average. Like, for instance, in the same way that you could give an anecdote of a man that you think is good at leading to justify the claim that men are better at leading than women, well, I could just give an anecdote of the opposite. Hitler was a man, he was a terrible leader, therefore men are worse at leading than women, all right? But clearly that's not how it works, because we cannot attempt to allow an anecdote of what we think about one individual man to then exist as a portrait for a generalization about all men.
Why did you have to say Hitler?
Because he's obviously a bad leader that's a man?
Yeah, and
you agree?
The President of the United States, which is the Commander-in-Chief, Donald J. Trump, is a great leader.
Okay.
And he's a great leader because he won a landslide.
Okay. Yeah.
And if he could run again, he would run a landslide again.
Yeah, well, guess what? He's not. He's a terrible president. His policy sucks. How about this? What's your favorite Trump policy? I mean, a bill passed through Congress, then signed into law.
I'm a former college coach, and not having men and women's sports.
That's not a
what
thing.
bill was that?
It's not a
Well,
thing.
I'm sorry, what bill was that? I asked you a very
not a thing.
specific
We
question.
got to stop there that you've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
Okay.
All right. If you want to debate this claim, please get to the center in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, Tracy.
How are you?
I think I remember you. Were you on my first Surrounded episode?
Maybe.
Well, I'm gonna pass the mic to you. Tell us why you think men are better at leading than women. It's worth me reminding you and maybe everybody else in the room that so far a lot of the people who've come up and sat in that chair have really
many
missed
kids I
the
have?
mark. Like
One,
that last lady.
two,
She told me
three,
that men are better
four,
at leading than
five,
women because
six,
she likes
seven.
Trump. Okay, let's hear in general why men are better at leading than women.
Well, this is why I think you're going to be surprised. I actually agree with you.
And why are you in the chair?
And
Why is it?
I respectfully disagree with some of them. Well, I'm just saying some of the points that they were bringing up about a woman being pregnant and because somebody's can carry a baby that they're not fit to lead.
Oh,
I mean, it's the same argument where we say men go to work and come home and the woman stays and handles the household and the children. So is that
Crazy.
not a powerful position? And I also have to, I'm respectfully disagreeing here, and I want you to give me an example. If you can tell me hypothetically of a woman that you think would be a better leader than Trump right now.
So just to clarify, you don't think men are better at leading than women?
No, Dean, because
Perfect. I'm really happy that you don't think that.
I just told you, I agree with you, right?
I want you and everybody else in the room to obviously not think that men are better at leading than women. But unfortunately, the nature of this Surrounded episode is where we have disagreeers in the hot seat.
Yes, so I'm asking
I'm happy
you.
you're not, though.
So if we're walking down a dark alley, let's say we're on Figueroa or something, I would be the person having to protect you. I mean, everybody's built differently.
What is this?
I feel like I would have to be protecting you. I'm taller. I'm sure I weigh more than you. I mean, you can take as many classes as you want.
Wow. Yeah.
But it's true, Dean.
Listen.
Men and women are.
I'm not going to disrespect your ego the same way you're attempting to insult me, and that's fine.
Well, no,
See, I'll
it's
be the
a
bigger person here.
No,
that's the difference between the left and the right.
comparison. So it depends on where this conversation is going. If you're looking at body
That's
type,
funny, though.
I'm sorry, there are women that are larger
Can
than
you
men.
guys vote her out because she doesn't think that men are better at leading than women?
Tracy, it does sound like you agree on this
Yes.
prompt. So we're going to have you return to your seat and bring in a disagreeer.
Okay.
All right, if you disagree with this claim and you want to be the next debater, please get to the chair in 3.
Kim.
Why does everybody keep dying?
Just a minute.
The last one died of the pox. Dude, why are all my caravan masters dying of the pox?
Two, 1.
Hi. Your name's Julia?
Julia Kate. So I want to ask you, inherent in your statement that men are not better leaders than women.
Yeah.
There's
Oh,
the
that
sense
makes
you
so
believe men
much
and women
sense that he wants to
different
take the
there's
black
obviously
dude.
distinctions between men and women, or else we wouldn't have two different words to refer to two different
Okay,
groups.
so what are some of the distinctions?
Well, I mean, there's distinctions in the sense of cultural and social attitudes and behaviors. There's going to be that are, of course, innate to men and women because
you
I don't
don't
think
believe
that
in
Dude, that's
prescriptive-
so
I don't think
crazy.
that prescriptive gender norms exist. Now, like from your perspective, that we were to define the genders on the basis of
I've
sex,
been
of course,
saying
there's
that
gonna be
he should
sexual
do this.
dimorphism, and there's going to be
That's
differences
so
present
funny
within
because,
that.
like, look,
Of course, like, there's a
he just
plethora
likes
of
to
differences.
party
Listen,
and
I'm
fight.
not denying that there are differences between men and women.
He's
because
calm.
once again,
Biologically
if there
different.
wasn't
He
differences
didn't want to get
between
married
women, well,
ever.
then we
He's a
wouldn't have
good
two distinct
fighter.
Okay,
groups.
okay, so we
But
agree on that.
my claim is I
His
don't think
crush
that
is
any of the
gone. That's
differences
kinda
that
cool.
exist between men and women would amount to being relevant to justify the
wasn't
claim
gonna
that
get
men are
married.
better at leading than women.
Do you
I'll
think
actually
women
ask
are
He
better
always wanted to
at
just
leading
join
than
the
men?
black.
No, I actually think that gender is completely
I changed him to be a
irrelevant
Patriot
Gender
7
changes,
as
what you're
he
saying.
got.
of if somebody is
Who
better
do
at
he
leading
got?
than the other person. I ultimately think
Who do you-
that there's going to be no
Who is he?
determinative ability,
see, he
regardless
was
if we're
even-
making the claim that men are better at leading than women or women are better at
scared
leading
he
than
was
men,
taught
to ever
by
make
our
that
Okay, so
prescriptive
what I'm
claim.
hearing is that men and women are essentially interchangeable in your mind.
Well, in my mind, once again, I just don't
Just
believe
yes
in
or
the
no.
prescriptive gender norms.
Okay,
And I think
gotcha.
that ultimately one's gender is irrelevant
can
to
I
their
ask you a
leadership
question?
capabilities. If you can tell
This
me
girl.
what...
Let's rewind a little bit because this girl's crazy. This girl's crazy.
With this claim and you want to be the next debater, please get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Hi. Your name's Julia?
Julia Kate. So I want to ask you, inherent in your statement that men are not better leaders than women.
Yeah.
There's the sense that you believe men and women are different, correct?
I think that there's obviously distinctions between men and women, or else we wouldn't have two different words to refer to two different groups.
So what are some of the distinctions?
Well, I mean, there's distinctions in the sense of cultural and social attitudes and behaviors. There's going to be that are, of course, innate to men and women, because
So you
I don't
don't
think
believe
that
in innate
prescriptive.
distinctions?
I don't think that prescriptive gender norms exist. Now, like from your perspective, that we were to define the genders on the basis of sex, of course, then there's going to be sexual dimorphism, and there's going to be differences present within
Alan
that.
Stark
Of course,
is at
like,
the
there's
wall,
a plethora of
dude.
differences. Listen, I'm not denying that there are differences between men and women, because once
Differences
again,
biologically,
if there wasn't differences between men and women, well, then we wouldn't have two distinct groups.
Okay, so we
But
agree on that.
what my claim is I don't think that any of the differences that exist between men and women would amount to being relevant to justify the claim that men are better at leading than women.
Do you
I'll
think
actually
women
ask
are better at leading than men?
No, I actually think that gender is completely irrelevant to the
Interchangeable is
prospect
what you're saying.
of if somebody is better at leading than the other person. I ultimately think that there's going to be no determinative ability, regardless if we're making the claim that men are better at leading than women or women are better at leading than men, to ever make that
Okay,
prescriptive
so what
claim.
I'm hearing is that men and women are essentially interchangeable in your mind.
Well, in my mind, once again, I just don't
Just
believe
yes
in
or
the
no.
prescriptive gender norms.
Okay,
and I
got
think
you.
that ultimately one's gender is irrelevant
can
to
I
their
ask you a
leadership
question?
capabilities.
Could she leave
If
my
you can
court,
tell
please,
me
if she's
what
sick?
are the relevant differences between men and women
Yes.
that
You
make
get a
men
hold
better
of your
leading than women?
fucking
Yes,
family,
we can go back
bruh.
to the hunter and gatherers when men were the ones going out to hunt and women were the ones staying with the children and gathering fruits and nuts. Men are the people that go towards risk, that go towards provision, naturally. Why is it that in today's, even our influencer community, we have more women that are drawn towards beauty, makeup, things like family, schooling, and men are
What
more drawn
society has
towards
pushed them
traditionally
to.
masculine things? It's innate in every culture that you
Dude,
see this
is
trend.
everybody
We
dying
are
of
hormonally different.
pox right
That's
now?
been mentioned throughout this place. You, as a man, do not know what it's like to have a cycle, to have a period, to have your hormones go up and down.
Yeah.
That is insanely significant for a woman's ability to lead. And women will complain about being scared to walk on the
Women
streets at
will
night,
complain.
and yet they'll elect the same politicians that release the
Reminds
criminals
me
on
of
the
that
street.
Do you think that women should lose the right to vote?
Parks
I
and
think
Rec
that
thing.
I'm not talking
The man
about
should
that.
walk in front of
Just
the
gotta get a quick
woman.
yes or no, then go
I
back to the
think that
topic.
we need strong alpha males like
Like,
Donald J. Trump,
what's her n-
Spencer Pratt,
April
and our
Ludgate
love
sucked,
Charlie
dude.
Kirk, who
Oh,
will
Jesus.
have secure borders, who will not
Man,
let
wish I
criminals
should've
on
walked in
the
front of
street.
her.
Ironically say strong alpha males?
Strong alpha males, yeah.
Bro, get a grip. Stand up.
You, bro,
Listen.
get-
Hold on. I want to find it. This is who it's giving right now.
Saving money feels right. Just like
This
when
is
things
what-
are
this is
packed
what
tidy
she-
and
this is
tight.
who she's
Get auto
playing.
insurance that fits your budget and your needs. Save up to 10%.
It's a pleasure to be here, ladies. I didn't think anybody really cared about my time on the city council.
Oh, we do. I mean, you were such an inspiration. Still going strong at 82.
How old is that handkerchief?
Well, it's not a handkerchief, it's a receipt.
Paula Hork was Pawnee's first female city councilor 40 years ago, and she was a huge inspiration to me. Women have come a long way in Pawnee, but we still have quite a ways to go. I mean, technically, I'm not allowed to reserve this conference room without my husband or father's signature.
Government was a real boys' club back in the 70s. They smoked their cigars, they snapped my bra, wore mirrors on their shoes to look up my skirt.
Well, I'm happy to report that it is now a pervert-free people's club.
Well, except for Councilman Dexhart, who's a self-described pervert.
Yeah, and didn't Milton try to kiss you?
Well, yeah, things aren't perfect.
All the other councilmen used to keep a calendar for my menstrual cycle.
Are you kidding me? That is horrible. They don't do that to me. Do they do that to me?
I once tried to start a commission to try to get more jobs for women in city government, and they dismissed me, saying that it was because it was just my time of the month. Admittedly, they were right, because of their calendar.
Man pigs, all of them. You know what? I'm gonna get that commission going, because this inequality has gone on long enough.
You know what? I think men are better than women.
She's kidding.
No, I'm not. They provide for us, and we must obey them because they are our masters.
April, stop it.
Leslie, you'll never land a beau with that domineering tone. We must always walk behind the men.
That is exactly who that girl's playing.
Obey them because. No, I'm not. They provide for us, and we must obey them because they are our masters.
That's what that's who this girl is.
Equality has gone on long enough.
You know what? I think men are better than women.
Her?
She's kidding.
No, I'm not.
Get a grip. You're a man. You want to mansplain to me?
Well, I mean, actually, you just said that men are better at leading than women, so you should listen to every word that comes out of my mouth per your perspective, right? So if you think that men are the strong alpha males and women are the emotional followers, why won't you follow my lead and listen to what I have to say?
First off,
because
sir,
you don't believe what you
that
say.
is a straw man. I believe that male and female are created equal in the image of God. We each have the same dignity and the same value. We have the same brain, the same rationality, but we have different and distinct roles.
Okay.
Why is it that women can get pregnant? Only females can get pregnant.
Well, of course, that would boil down to the physical biology.
Physical biology,
because
and
that
isn't that innate that women are more geared towards child rearing and child raising than men are?
So once again, the way that we started this conversation was by me agreeing that there are going to be
Yep,
differences
see, Ned
between
Stark
men and
in the
women.
night.
You just simply
Another
didn't.
Ned.
Did I
better
finish?
leaders.
I would love
Ned
if I
Stark
could
Jr. is
finish.
the night.
You can't say because there's differences between two things
betrothed.
that thereby innately one of the two things is going to be
Sansa
better at
plan,
leading
which
than
is
the other.
kinda
Like, I think
weird,
that's
but-
ridiculous. Listen, once again, my claim is that the differences that do exist between men and women ultimately don't amount to justifying the claim that men are better at leading than women. And let me respond because you made a lot of claims. I think it's been the opposite.
Okay.
To respond to your claims,
Thank
you
you,
said
sir.
that there's a difference in the hormonal balances of men and women that make women more emotional. Well, I mean, I already went over this with.
It's not even just more emotional. It's that our bodies are not equipped to handle the same levels of cortisol as men. We
They're
need
actually
more
more
care.
equipped.
Look at Donald Trump. The
They're
man
more
literally
equipped.
lives off of Diet Coke and McDonald's.
Okay.
We could not do that.
Okay, listen. Actually, women are more equipped than men to deal with stress. It is proven by the
That's
science.
actually not true.
No, I'll tell you. You could look this up. Anybody at home could look this up. Women have thicker dendrites in their brain, and study after study after study has concluded time and time and time again that this.
It says existing human studies show that pregnancy and childbirth are associated with complex neuroplastic changes. But there is no robust evidence that childbirth causes a global increase in dendritic thickness or density that confers universally superior stress resilience in women compared with men. Stress reactivity and coping capacity vary widely within both sexes and are shaped by hormonal status, environment, mental health history, and social context, rather than a single structural brain change linked to childbirth.
Gives women the ability to better manage their stress than men. And you actually brought this up. You brought up childbirth. The reason why women have thicker dendrites in their brain, giving them a greater navigation ability, giving them a greater ability to deal with their pain and stress, is because of childbirth. Okay,
Yes, because
and that's
childbirth
exactly why
is a
women can
big
deal with their
thing.
stress better than men. So your claim that the opposite is true is wrong. And plus, once again, when we look in society, how men deal with stress compared to how women deal with stress, well, when a man gets mad, he commits a violent crime, he kills his wife, he kidnaps his children, he sets his house ablaze, and this is why men are significantly more likely to commit every single crime on the books, including
strong
crimes
men.
that do not have a necessity for any use of physical strength, such as arson, cyberbullying,
If you think
or
women are such good
terroristic
leaders, why won't
threats.
you let me speak?
Well, I'll happily let you speak in response to the things that I've said, as long as you're able to stay on
I
topic
am
and
able to
respond to
stay
the
on
meat on the
topic
bone.
because I'm a woman and I have a brain. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, I guess women are better at leading than men.
No, we're not. We're good.
Oh,
in
No,
our
we're
personal
not.
rules. We
You
have
don't
our
have a brain.
strengths and our
We're
values.
not. We're not better leading than men. We're not. Like,
adaptable,
what is so
but men
weird
are the
thing to
people that need
say?
to be out there fighting crime for us, protecting us, so that we feel safe and we can keep our children safe. Why do you think that just historically, more men are CEOs, more men are presidents, senators, whatever kind of leadership role you want to talk about? That is not because of white supremacy, colonization, or some kind of legal limit. It's
Okay.
because men are drawn to those roles. Today, women have the same exact rights as men, and still, a lot of them choose to stay at home or feel that they can't stay at home because of societal pressures.
Okay, well, I think that you said it there at the end. Societal pressures. Societal pressures are the reason why I think that we've seen more men in positions of power, more men in leadership fields, and more men's calling the shot. But if you're the position that underpins your claim here would be that if we see an overrepresentation of men in a field in comparison to women, that men are then by definition better performing in that field. So in the same way you're claiming that because of a vast majority of leaders are men, therefore women are worse at leading, would you also claim that men are better at surgery than women because 85% of surgeons are men and 15% of surgeons are women? I just want to direct yes or no to my question so then I can
think that
follow
most
this
men
up with a dialogue.
Become surgeons because it's a more masculine thing. It takes more masculine traits.
Could you
To
just
have
answer my
to look
question?
at the blood. I said yes, but I want to ask you:
I
would
have
you
to hop in
agree
here.
that men are more oppressed today than women? Men are told that they're toxic for being masculine. The only laws that prevent any gender
Please
from
don't
getting a
vote her
role.
out. I need to respond.
We have laws in favor of women getting leadership roles. We're taking opportunities away from men. We
Okay.
need. You are
You just-
oppressed
you just-
more than me.
This chick is crazy. Okay, listen, I think that you're crazy because you just said that I'm more oppressed than you, while also claiming that I'm a better leader than you after making the argument that disproportionately men have been in positions of leadership throughout history when leadership is
You're
what
more
grants
oppressed,
power.
but you're also
Anyways,
way more
insanity.
but you're
Listen,
better leader.
I asked you a question. I said, do you think that men are better
like,
at
is
surgery
it
than
what they
women?
call
Because
pick me?
85% of surgeons are men and 15% of surgeons are women. The reason why I asked this question is because you made the claim that men are better at leading than women because a vast majority of leaders have been men. You said, yes, Dean, because a vast majority of surgeons are men, therefore men are better. The science says, no, men are actually worse at surgery. So the American Medical Association did a study in conjunction with the Journal of the American Medical Association. They did this study on 1.4 million patients over 6 continents in 14 years, and what they determined consistently is that when we account for every single confounding variable that could possibly exist, every single time, men are significantly more likely to kill a patient on the operating table or to give them negative postoperative outcomes in comparison to women. It is one of the most well-accredited studies ever conducted in human history that has reasonably concluded that women are better at surgery than men, even though they account for a minority of surgeons. And this is exactly what debunks your claim that if a field is overrepresented by men, that therefore men are better at performing in it.
Of our natural desires and what men and women are naturally drawn to.
But women are better at surgery, even though they account for a minority of surgeons. That completely debunks your argument.
Sure, that could be a thing, but I'm saying
So you
that naturally
concede.
men are drawn towards roles of risk and provision. That's because of innate biological characteristics.
women are better at
and
surgery.
I said that you're oppressed because of society telling you that you need to be a beta woke man. You are not like oppressed as a leader. Like instinctually, you want to lead. You want to teach me. That's because of your nature, and I appreciate that very much. But I disagree with your claims.
Okay, well, I mean, you have to concede here that your argument that men are better at leading than women because more men are leaders than women is false. And the reason
Okay, we gotta stop there. We're out of time, so please return to your seat.
Pleasure.
That's the rounded episode you watched and got you scratching your head again thinking,
my
damn, I
God.
rated myself on a Jubilee video again?
Hold on.
Well, I got something else that's gonna...
To teach me. That's because of suspicion. That's because of innate biological characteristics.
women are better at
and
surgery.
I said that you're oppressed because of society telling you that you need to be a beta woke man. You are not like oppressed as a leader. Like instinctually, you want to lead. You want to teach me. That's because of your nature, and I appreciate that very much. But I disagree with your claims.
Okay, well, I mean, you have to
She
concede here
is
that your argument that men are better at leading than women because
like
more men are
Ashley
leaders
is
than
going
women
to-
is false. And the reason...
Okay, we gotta
Make a lot of
stop
money
there.
off
We're
her.
out of time, so please return to your
Yeah.
seat.
Pleasure.
That's the rounded episode you watched and got you scratching your head again thinking, damn, I've rated myself on a Jubilee video again? Well, I got something else that's going to do the same thing to you or possibly teach you something. You've probably seen me before. I'm Austin Julio Broughton, and I'm a Christian populist.
And I'm David Mauricio, and I guess I could call myself a progressive. On this show, we're doing something revolutionary. We're trying to bridge the gap in a uniquely divided America by destroying these echo chambers and addressing the issues plaguing everyday Americans. Tune into our show, The Split, Sunday, June 28th on Jubilee.
My
wanna make
next
some
rounded claim
predictions.
is Donald Trump is a misogynistic sexual predator.
Okay, if you want to debate this claim, please
Like-
get to the chair in 3, 2,
I can argue. Like, where's he?
Hello, my name
Howdy,
is Shiva
howdy.
Bagari.
What's your name?
Shiva
Act like
Bagari.
it's not.
Shiva
He was
Bagari.
like-
Well, would you like me to take it away by explaining to you why I
Hate
think
this.
Donald Trump is
Sure,
a misogynistic
yeah.
sexual predator?
Yeah.
First and foremost, he's a sexual predator because a court has held him civilly liable for raping a woman by the name of E. Jean Carroll. Of course, in somebody is something that would make one a sexual predator. In 2005, he also boasted about engaging in sexual violence by sexually exploiting beauty pageant
Lincoln Stark is
contestants
now
at the beauty
going
pageants that he
down
owned
to-
by barging into their dressing rooms and looking at their naked bodies.
The baby
And
is
this
going
isn't an
down
allegation
all
from
the
some
way
woman that you could defame and say just wants money or fame. No, this was an admittance of guilt, something that Donald Trump said he did on Howard Stern's radio show. And I see you shaking your head. I'll happily play you the clip if you want. And we
Yes,
also
please,
see...
please show me the clip because I
What did
do
you do?
not believe it. Yes, take it out.
Don't worry, I got it.
Everybody's
preloaded.
heard this clip
Okay,
before.
good.
Why is no? They act like it's non-existent. I love it. It just shows that it's a cult. That lady does not even know it exists.
and ready and everything else, and no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed
And
to
she's
go in
gonna
because
excuse
I'm
it.
the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that everything is good. Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible-looking women, and so I sort of get away with things like that.
Why don't we start there? Mike's yours.
Okay, well, he said that he probably sees them. It doesn't say they're naked there, so
It does.
they might have. No, it doesn't.
He said that they have no clothes on. When you have no clothes on,
No,
you're naked.
who said that they didn't have clothes on?
Donald Trump.
He didn't
Donald
say that
Trump.
in the clip.
Yeah, I'll show you.
Okay, again, I want to hear
That's
it
fine.
again.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They standing there with no clothes. Is
everybody okay?
There you go.
Oh well, it's he didn't actually say clothes, but he said clothes.
I think it's important for us to be intelligent, rational people.
Okay,
so you say no clothes, and then Howard Stern says, so you're like a doctor.
I definitely don't agree
Why did
with
Howard
that?
Stern say you're like a doctor? Because doctors get to see people naked.
Okay, I don't agree with that. But men are men, and men have testosterone, and men love beautiful women. And trust me, I would prefer a man that actually looks at women and is sexually attracted to women than someone that is not. And I actually like looking at women too, and I'm not even a lesbian, but I think women's bodies are beautiful. It's like
Ma'am, I'm sorry. No,
it's art
I'm sorry.
to me.
This
now,
is disgusting.
No, and
you just told me that you would prefer a man who, quote unquote, likes the female body and is willing to barge into the private women's only dressing rooms to look at them while they have no clothes on.
I said
compared
before
to
that
you're saying I think that real men with testosterone are sexual predators.
So you just lied about me right now because I said I don't believe what he did was right.
But it was but I would prefer a man who likes to look at the naked bodies of women that got
I've been over someone that is attracted to other men. Yes.
Why?
Absolutely. Because it's not natural.
It's not natural
to
be
gay? It's natural to be attracted to the opposite
Define
sex.
natural.
Natural is what God made, Adam and Eve.
So God didn't make gay people?
Well, actually,
I thought that God was the creator of all.
No, that's sin.
Exactly.
And sin came from the devil.
No, sin is a conscious decision. Being gay is not a conscious decision.
Well, actually, being gay is a conscious decision.
Okay. Could you choose to be gay?
It's an action.
Could you choose to be gay?
Yes, absolutely.
Could you choose to be?
I actually could have chose to be gay when I was younger.
Could you choose to be attracted to your mom?
A lot of women actually.
Could you choose to be attracted to your mom? If attractions are a choice, could you choose to be attracted to your mom?
Can you choose to be a pedophile?
No, I couldn't choose to be a pedophile. Could you choose to be attracted to your mom?
Oh, so there you go. He thinks, no, it's an action, honey. And you can choose to sin or you can choose not to sin. I try to keep the devil away from you.
Sorry.
No,
King of the hand of the king.
But see, you don't come from a biblical standpoint.
What are the first?
That's got intense too.
Get the naked bodies of women that got
I've been over someone that is attracted to other men. Yes.
Why?
Absolutely. Because it's not natural.
It's not natural to be gay?
It's natural to be attracted to the opposite
Define
sex.
natural.
Natural is what God made, Adam and Eve.
So God didn't make gay people?
Well, actually,
I thought that God was the creator of all.
No, that's sin, and sin came from the devil.
No, sin is a conscious decision. Being gay is not a conscious decision.
Well, actually, being gay is a conscious decision.
Okay. Could you choose to be gay?
It's an action.
Could you choose to be gay?
Yes, absolutely.
Could you choose to be?
I actually could have chosen to be gay when I was younger.
Could you choose to be attracted to your mom?
A lot of women actually.
Could you choose to be attracted to your mom? If attractions are a choice, could you choose to be attracted to your mom?
Can you choose to be a pedophile?
No, I couldn't choose to be a pedophile. Could you choose to be attracted to your mom?
Oh, so there you go. He thinks, no, it's an action, honey. And you can choose to sin or you can choose not to sin. I try to keep the devil away from me.
Can I just get a clear answer to the question?
No, this is a clear answer. But see, you don't come from a biblical standpoint.
What are the first 4 books in the New Testament?
I come from a biblical standpoint that there's 2 sexes. There's no 50 different genders. That came from a pedophile named John Money who lied about a study to push reassignment surgery on thousands of people through his lie that butchered this poor boy and put him through hell. Reimer twins, go look it up on Oprah.
Yeah.
Okay? So
I'm going to ask the question again.
You don't live in
I'm going to ask
reality.
the question again.
I live in reality where I know that a tree is a tree, a woman is a woman, a man's a man, and if you are choosing,
and a moron's a moron.
And if you're choosing, see, that's what they do. When they can't win an argument, they go for calling.
Okay, pause. Everybody pause. Dean, we gotta ask that you don't do personal attacks. That's a warning.
He called her a moron. She called him up.
The question once again was, do you choose to be attracted to your mother? The reason why I asked, I'm asking you this question is because you had suggested that all attractions are a choice.
It is a choice.
So please, with it, just a concise yes or no, could you choose to literally be sexually aroused by your mother? So there's 2 possible answers to this question. The first possible answer is yes, Dean, I could choose to be attracted to my own mother. And the second possible answer would be no, Dean, I could not choose to be sexually aroused by my own mother.
You're trying to do a hook
what's
on
your
me.
answer?
Could I just, do you have a yes or no for that?
No, because this is a hook. Because I will never be attracted to my mother and father because It's a choice, but I would never do that because I'm a Christian.
So could you choose?
That's it. I'm not going to get to say that on camera. That's weird. And I'm not going to be in the hook of this young man that's 21-year-old telling a 52-year-old to say something disgusting like that.
So you admit that it's disgusting to think that you could choose to be attracted to your mother.
We got to stop there that you've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat. If you want to be the next debater, please get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Howdy.
Hi, Dean. How are you?
I'm doing phenomenal. I'm
My
gonna
name
try
is
to.
Zuriel.
Zuriel, it's a pleasure
Nice
to
to
meet
meet you.
We're going to go back to the prompts. I think that Donald Trump is a misogynistic sexual predator. The reasons why I think this are some of them that I shared with the last guest. It's because I think that Donald Trump is a. He had a civil court determine that he raped a woman by the name of E. Jean Carroll. We listened to that clip of Donald Trump bragging about engaging in sexual violence. Listen, I take a sexual predator to be somebody that is engaged in sexual violence. Donald Trump bragged about that when he said he barged into the dressing rooms of the women at Miss Teen USA and Miss USA. If Donald Trump's admission of guilt in that clip that I played to the last lady is true, and this is indeed something that Donald Trump has done, then by definition, Donald Trump would be a sexual predator, and thereby, by definition, I'd be right.
Can we both agree that people in power of elitists, people up there in politics, all have their own, maybe their own immoral traits to why they're running for candidacy? Like we've heard about Epstein files,
Yes.
about all these different people that, maybe they're not really here to make a change for us.
Yes.
Can we agree with that?
Yes.
I could care less about what Donald Trump says on the media, because
But
I
it's-
believe as long as he does his very best to be a good president and do the best for this
Rickon doesn't
economy,
need to get
I
married.
don't
Rickon
vote
doesn't
for a
want to get
president based
married.
off
Rickon
their
is-
character. I vote for them
Wait,
based off
he's
what
back
they
in
can get done,
Winterfell?
honestly.
I would like to just take a moment. Let's look at what
He
you
came
said.
back?
Are you saying, Dean, it's true Donald Trump is a misogynistic sexual predator, but I could care less because of his policy?
What I'm saying is,
Can I just get a straight
we
answer?
obviously can't deny that maybe he has bad traits of his character. I'm not going to agree that, I
came
don't know
back.
everything about Trump like you do.
Okay,
But
let's start
what
from
I
the
care
top.
about is his economy. I don't care about what he has to say on
Let's start from the top of this
the
debate.
news.
You sit down. I tell you
Rickon
Donald Trump is
doesn't
a
care
sexual
about
predator.
love, dude.
I tell you he's a sexual predator because he raped a woman and boasted about sexually exploiting beauty pageant contestants.
The reason why
you
I'm not
respond,
responding to
you
your
respond,
claim
you
is
respond.
I don't know much
Okay,
about what
so
you
let's
see in
just
the
let's
courthouse.
test your logic. What do you say, Dean? Even if it was true, Donald Trump was a sexual predator, because you don't know about the evidence for it, which is something you should look into on your own time. I would
Right.
still support him as president and could care less. Is that your position?
I would still support him as president because he does what's best for the economy and for the American dream.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to stop.
Every
We got
person
to pause
within
there.
that.
You've been voted out. We got to pause there. Thank
Quote
you.
unquote, I would still support Donald Trump as president if he was a sexual predator. If he was a child, they'd still support him.
If you want to be the next debater, please get to the chair in 3, 2.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Liz.
Nice to meet you, Liz.
Nice to meet you.
Listen, I think that you've heard my arguments. You happen to be sitting in a position where you could hear my voice. Mic is yours.
Okay, so my question is, because you mentioned Donald Trump going into the women's locker rooms,
Yeah.
are all trans people sexual predators?
So I would not say that trans women are sexual predators for using the women's restroom. I think that the definition of sexual violence would be
Like,
any
that's
sexual
such a
act that is done
stupid
without consent.
comparison.
And I don't think that this would be true of trans women who use a women's restroom. And I have an argument for why I think that trans women should be able to use a women's restroom. But let's try to take advantage of our time. Instead of me giving you my argument, let's just hopefully stay on topic with the claim that Donald Trump is a sexual predator because he's raped a woman. He's boasted about sexually exploiting women by barging into their dressing rooms and looking at their naked bodies without consent, then telling Howard Stern how much he
Okay.
loved it and how incredible they looked. He's mentioned the Epstein
it
files
was-
over a
but
million
the
times.
women, the young women in sports who do not want biological men in their dressing rooms, doesn't that go against them?
Well, we
what
could-
about their safety?
I would love to have a conversation with you about trans people in dressing rooms, or sorry, more so locker rooms. And I understand where you're coming from if you say, well,
Rickon
I
doesn't
don't want a
either
trans
way.
woman in my dressing room because I would see their naked body and their genitalia.
Well, no, it's
and
not-
the
it's not
reason,
about-
the
no.
reason why I get it, the reason why I understand where you're coming from, is because even when I go into my gym's locker room and I see other dudes with their dicks out, I'm like, hey, bro, I
And
don't really want them to see me. I don't want them to see me.
care
So
about me,
I actually,
I don't want them to
advocate.
see me.
I advocate. One moment. I advocate for unisex, unistall, one person at one time changing rooms in locker rooms and gyms and
It's like a
sports
little
across the
nerd.
country. That's my
Part of your-
position.
part of
But let's
your
talk about the
claim-
claim.
part-
That
yeah,
Donald
no, but
Trump
this
is
is
a sexual
part of the claim.
handsome.
Well, you're not.
First of all,
Do you accept that
accusation-
Donald
This
Trump
is
is a
the
sexual
this is
predator?
the future goal, bro.
And if I admitted to
This
doing
is
it, then
the
it would be
future
true.
goal.
Donald Trump admitted to barging into those dressing rooms, and a court found him guilty of raping E. Jean Carroll.
No, he didn't. No, they didn't. That's a lie.
They certainly did.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did. Listen, do you accept that the definition of rape would include the penetration of a woman's vagina with any part of a man's body, including his fingers?
Without consent.
Yeah. So specifically, the action that the jury found Donald Trump guilty for
Okay,
was
but what-
forcefully
No.
penetrating E. Jean
No.
Carroll's.
I think what's going on right now in the world with men and women is that women are accusing a lot of
Lady
men
Branna
of,
Stark.
and until I see
Rob,
actual
then the little
proof,
baby Rob.
because a jury can just agree with anything. That's something else,
beautiful.
okay? Until there is actual proof and evidence, and if you can show me the proof that Donald Trump her, then fine.
Thank you so much for the great question. What's all the evidence? So the first form of evidence that we would have would be E. Jean Carroll's testimony, which has maintained consistency for the last 30 years, as corroborated by 4 of her friends that testified under penalty of perjury. The second form of
And
evidence
no
that we'd
one's
have
lied
here-
under penalty of perjury.
Well, can you please like
Sorry.
examine the evidence in which I provide
No,
as soon
I'm
as I'm
sorry.
done
I
providing it?
apologize. Go
We have
ahead.
therapist notes from the 90s indicating she was by Trump. We had the testimony of a psychotherapist that said when E. Jean Carroll was testifying to the fact she was by Donald Trump, she was exhibiting signs consistent with true trauma that we'd expect to be onset by a true victim of. Then we have Donald Trump's lies and inconsistencies. He lied. He said that he never met her as a part of his testimony for his defense. And then E. Jean Carroll responded by submitting a photo of them together to court.
Do you
We also
remember
have, I'm
every
not done
single
with the evidence. I'm not done with the evidence.
She
We have
also
another
thought
line
she
of
was his
inconsistency
wife.
on Donald Trump's behalf. He also said that he never raped her because she wasn't his type, but then he confused a picture of E. Jean Carroll to be his ex-wife Marla Maples under deposition, so clearly she was his type. Then we also have E. Jean Carroll's dress. E. Jean Carroll submitted a dress to the court, claiming it was the dress that she was raped in by Donald Trump. Court confirmed it had male DNA on it, and then when the court asked Donald Trump to provide a DNA sample to test against the DNA in the dress, he said no. Doesn't sound like something an innocent man would do. And then the last and final piece of evidence we have would be his character priors. Listen, we all know that a one-time felon is around 73% more likely to engage in another felony compared to somebody that's never committed a crime in their life. The same thing rings true about being a sexual predator. So because Donald Trump has character priors with engaging in sexual predation, like the dressing room clip, proudly boasting about sexually exploiting naked women and girls, or like the Access Hollywood tape where he literally said that he would just grab women by their vaginas without asking first, and that's precisely what the jury found him guilty of doing, or everything to do with the Epstein files, that in consideration with the direct evidence submitted by E. Jean Carroll and his lies is absolutely what demonstrates Donald Trump raped E. Jean Carroll.
Okay, we gotta
Why
stop
can't
there.
we
We gotta
be
stop
fighting
there.
it?
The flags are up. You've been voted out.
Arrest
Please
Bill
return to your
Clinton. Who
seat.
cares?
Yeah.
If you want to be the next debater,
Nobody's like
please
standing
get to
up
the
for
chair in
Bill
3,
Clinton. Like
2,
nobody, dude. He's not. Oh my gosh.
Hi.
Why
Nice
would
to
I?
meet you. I'm Gina.
Nice to meet you too, Gina.
Thank you. First of all, if Trump was truly a predator, he would have never reported Epstein to the feds.
Yeah, he didn't.
In the 90s. He did.
Do you mean
In the
2006?
Yeah, sorry, 2006.
That's okay.
Also, was he ever on the island?
Well, I don't think that there's any evidence to demonstrate he was on the
never
island.
on the
Because I don't think he needed to go to the island to get it off.
No.
Listen, about the
Rico wants to
2006
be-
quote-unquote report to the feds about Epstein, he didn't report him to the feds. Epstein
don't
got
wanna fight.
arrested, and then Donald Trump turned around, called the local sheriff, and said, oh, thank God you got him. We've known about what Epstein's been doing all along, which A, indicates that Donald Trump knew what Epstein was doing with Maxwell and didn't report to him to the cops prior to Epstein's original arrest, and B, indicates that Donald Trump has been lying to us about the nature of his relationship with Epstein for the last 10 years.
No.
We've all heard Donald Trump say that he never knew what Epstein was doing, was never involved, and was completely oblivious, but according to that report to the sheriff, of course he knew.
Okay, so first of all, if he did do something, believe me, they would have found it. They had to make the Russian dossier up. They had to make things up to get Trump. Trump doesn't have to be a sexual predator. Any woman would love to be with Trump.
Oh my
Do
god.
you have a husband?
No.
Okay. Wait, well, let's actually test that. Could I have all the women with husbands or boyfriends in the room raise their hands? So her claim is that any woman would love to be with Trump. Would
Love.
you guys cheat on your husbands and boyfriends with Trump?
Well, we didn't say if they were married, not if we were married.
I mean, any.
Instead of anybody who's
Yeah.
in a relationship, is there anybody who would want to be with
Yeah,
Donald Trump?
let's do it the other way
Doesn't
around.
have
Who
to be
cares?
married.
Who? Okay. All right, listen. Put your hand up if you would have sex with Donald Trump.
Oh my god. Y'all are
If I was
crazy.
married to
dude.
Donald
That's
Trump, yes.
That's the
I'd
grossest
love
thing
to
I've
be.
ever heard in my entire life.
Would you, do you prefer Clinton? Why don't we talk about sexual predators as far as Bill Clinton?
Why? It's not
Okay,
about the
because he's a predator.
Okay, and if
Trump
he is,
doesn't
burn him,
have
throw him
to
under the
be a
jail. I
sexual
don't care.
predator. Trump
I don't know.
did
Here's
report
why.
him
There's
to the
nothing
feds.
wrong.
I thought I
This-
clarified
When-
that's not what
well,
happened.
You're wrong.
I'm wrong. Show me that. Give me
Virginia,
evidence.
first of all, Virginia Guthrie worked at Mar-a-Lago in the early 2000s.
Why
and
do they
he
hire 14-year-old
prompted her
massage
to come and work
therapists?
for him as a massage therapist Trump was pissed, and he
Like,
reported.
why is Donald Trump
Epstein.
hiring
Okay, well, I would
14-year-olds to
recommend
do
looking
massages?
at the fact check that will likely be
Yeah.
on the video screen that
I
says,
know that's not
actually,
illegal,
he
but
placed
it's
this
still
phone call
fucking
after
creepy.
Epstein was arrested
Like,
to
why
thank
is
the cop and to tip them off about Ghislaine Maxwell? Because that's what the fact check is going to say.
What's the difference?
Well, the difference is in one scenario, he's reporting the crime to the cop to then get Epstein arrested. In the secondary scenario, he's thanking the cop after Epstein's
And
arrested
he added
admitting
to
about what he was
the
doing.
indictments.
I think that in many scenarios, what we'll see from quote-unquote co-conspirators of criminals is, well, once their friend gets arrested for the same crime that they committed, we'll turn around and be all lovey-dovey to the police to try to, like, you know, indicate and promote the idea that they were involved. And the only reason why I bring this up isn't to say I know with certainty that this is exactly what Trump did, but it's rather to give plausible doubt to your argument that because he did this, we know he's not a sexual predator, even though he admitted to it on Howard Stern's radio show, and even though a court found him guilty of rape.
A court never found him guilty of. First of all, if he was guilty of, he'd be in chains right now.
That's not how civil courts
They
work.
had to make. Yeah, it is.
Civil courts don't send people to jail. They hold people financially liable. That's
Well,
the nature of our criminal justice
But
system.
he would have been in jail.
You're not familiar with statute of limitations, then.
I'm familiar with
What's
that.
the statute of limitations?
You can only accuse somebody within a matter of time, but right now
so
it's
if
30
E.
years.
So if E. Jean Carroll,
Right now
came
it's
out
30
after
years.
the statute of
She's
limitations
out
had
of
passed
her mind,
for
she's
sexual abuse
insane.
in the state of New York
They
against
threw her
Donald
case
Trump,
out.
do you agree that even if she had a video of it happening to her, he wouldn't be in jail because of the statute of limitations had
That's not
passed?
true. There is no statute of limitations when it comes to.
So by the law, the crime that Donald Trump committed per the New York State legal definition of rape and of sexual abuse in 2019 through
He never
2022
committed that crime.
was specifically sexual abuse, because legally speaking in New York, they only defined rape as penile penetration of the vagina. And she testified that he raped her with his fingers instead of his penis. So
No,
because of
that's
that,
a lie.
it would
There's
be
no
legally
proof of that.
categorized as sexual abuse, and
Maybe
that's the
proof, but they wouldn't
crime that had a
She's
statute
out of her
limitation.
mind.
You don't
She's
believe it,
insane, and they threw
lady.
the case out just recently.
Okay, why do
we
you think
got to
she's out of
pause
her
there.
mind?
We got to pause there. You've been voted out.
Oh God, who?
I just want to get a real quick raise of hands. This is not to shame anybody. I was just genuinely curious. Raise your flag really clearly so we could get a poll. If at Donald Trump's, like, you know, when he was in his 40s, if you think he was an attractive man. I just want to get a raise of flags.
This is so concerning.
Keep your flag up if you think he is currently still hot. Okay, I appreciate it. All right, if you would like to be the next debater, please get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Gross. For his age, you even had to. And the
All
funny
right,
thing is,
Lori,
if Trump
Mike, and the
watched this
floor
video,
yours.
he would call
What are your
up.
thoughts about
He
Trump
would.
barging into the dressing rooms of the beauty
Okay,
pageant
you know,
contestants?
you may not imagine this, but when I was your age, I was a model.
Yeah,
And I can tell
model
you
fit
for
creepy
a
sometimes,
fact,
bro.
every fashion show, every modeling call, there are men in the dressing room. There are
She's pregnant
makeup
again,
artists,
dude.
there are
Jesus
designers.
I'm about
It's
to have
not
like
uncommon.
9 sons,
And you're
probably.
making
Holy
it as if
Lord.
it's this big, huge deal. Donald Trump at the time was the
He
head
likes
of
me
the
the
Miss
least,
Universe and Miss
the
USA
most.
pageant. It wouldn't be surprising
dislikes me
if
the
I
most
was in there
because of
changing for him
things
to
I've
walk
done,
in.
apparently. Being
And
an
you guys, because it,
adulterer.
let's look at the camera. He's got a face for that one too. Let's go to E. Jean Carroll since she already went over this for
Can I
20
respond to
minutes.
that?
Sure, but we're down to 1 minute.
It'll
You've
only
already
take me
talked about
5
this.
words.
Go.
Trump said that there were no men anywhere.
Well, I don't care what he said. I'm saying as a woman that's been backstage at
I don't
many,
care
many
what he
fashion
said.
shows,
He was the owner.
there
He
are
was
men
the one backstage.
everywhere.
He said that he
well,
was the
and I'm
only
sure
man
that there
back
were other
there.
men. Forever or just that instance.
He said
I'm not
that there
buying
were-
it. Okay, we got
That's
50
what he
seconds. I'm
said
going
out of
E. Jean
this
Carroll.
truck.
E. Jean Carroll, number one, the statute of limitations had run out. Number two, for a very long time, she never reported it to anyone until Reid Hoffman paid
That's
her
just
to
keep
freaking go after
excusing it.
this
Just
lawsuit.
keep
Why
excusing
she
it.
is now
Keep
being
excusing
charged
it.
with perjury. Not only that, as a celebrity walking into Bergdorf Goldman's, you don't think that anybody would have a picture of him? And no offense, I don't trust a woman that named her cat Vagina and freaking was sexy and charged 21 other
But
men
you'll
with
you'll
that
listen to what
crime.
Trump just
Lori,
said
I'm
and
gonna get
trust
another
that.
fact check.
No, well, you go ahead and fact check. Larry King,
Yeah,
she
I will.
said rape
Check-
was
E. Jean Carroll has said that her cat is named Vagina T Fireball, which has nothing to do with anything, which is documented in her own social media and profiles. What does her cat's name have to do with her being raped? In a 2019 CNN interview with Anderson Cooper, she said, "I think most people think of rape as being sexy. They think of the fantasies." Carroll was explaining why she describing her alleged assault as rape. She said the word carries sexualized cultural connotations that did not match her experience, which she described as violent and painful, not sexual. She was not saying rape is actually sexy or endorsing that view. Her book describes 21 hideous men in her life and includes multiple allegations of serious sexual misconduct, but there is no evidence that she has publicly accused 21 men of rape. Like, it's just, yeah, they just twist her words, twist everything around, and then they get mad at, like, it's just everything, like, it's ODD. It's ODD narcissism. Like, nothing they do is wrong. And if it is wrong, then fuck you. Look at all your people that you like that have done something wrong. And when you say, oh, yeah, I don't like that either, they say, well, let's go get them. And then we get them, and we don't get the guy. And
Sexy.
Oh, you're wrong about Larry King too.
Oh, no, I'm not.
Your mind's a mess. Okay.
Your mind's a mess.
You know, Lori, there's something quite barbaric about MAGA, about this alt-right movement that's hinged on this paraxis of propaganda and useless and futile lies. And then when anybody tries to check these lies, well, then all of a sudden, the provocateurs of this movement get mad, start screaming, start yelling, start saying that they kicked our asses, and then they don't let us speak. Listen. You made a couple false claims. You claimed that E. Jean Carroll had said that rape is sexy on an Anderson Cooper interview. That's not what she said. If you watch the interview with Anderson Cooper,
we have to
you will
spend
hear
time
her say
explaining
verbatim that what happened to her was not sexual, was not sexy, quote unquote, it just hurt. And then Anderson Cooper responded to E. Jean Carroll by saying, well, I think that most people think of rape as like this hurtful, violent thing. And then she responded by saying, well, actually, I think most people think of rape as sexy. And the reason why she said that is because we form our own versions of reality predicated on our own experiences. So when you have the experience of sexual violence, when you have the experience of sexual violence, when you go through the experience of sexual violence,
I've been through
when
sexual
you
violence. Have
go
you?
through, yes. When
I'm
you go
sorry
through
to
the
hear that,
experience
Dean.
of sexual violence, you're more likely to be more hypercritical and aware of crazy people in the world around us that downplay it, legitimize it, or fantasize about it. So maybe it was descriptively incorrect. It wasn't true when she said most people think of rape as sexy, but regardless of that, that's not her saying that she thinks of rape as sexy. So stop misinterpreting the genuine claims made by a victim of predicated off of the trauma that they went through. Quite frankly, Lori, I think that is disgusting.
Well, I think it's disgusting because I was a victim of actual and abuse. And if you want to compare what happened in the Epstein files, let me just tell you, I was one of those little girls.
Like, and that's not
I was
good.
one of those little girls. But the guy
It's
was
not
Hugh
making.
Hefner. So for you to sit here and sit there and say it's disgusting, I'm sorry, I don't agree with the woman as a woman who was abused. I don't agree with the attacks falsely on Donald Trump because of the crap that your side always has to push because you got such bad TDS, it's insane. That woman is a nut job. I knew somebody that worked with her at Simon Schuster said that she was so inappropriate. She also accused 21 other men of the same freaking crime.
Name 5 of them.
I don't know their names.
Because they don't exist.
We're out of time. We have to pause there. Great job, everybody.
We are currently casting 3 new episodes of Surrounded. If you're a passionate debater who fits into any of the categories currently on your screen, we'd love to hear from you.
But I might just
you can apply
cuss all the
through our
time.
website,
Like,
jubileemedia.com/casting, or click on the link in the description. Feel free to spread the word to friends, family, or relatives who would be eager to join the circle. If you don't see anything
more
that you're
buildings,
right for, fill out an
Rod.
open casting application.
I would
and
like
our
more
casting team will
buildings,
reach out if you're a
please.
fit for future videos.
My next surrounded claim is abortion should be legal.
If you want to debate this claim, please get to the center in 3, 2, 1.
Hello again.
Welcome back. Mike's yours. I'll let you take it away.
Okay, well, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Do you believe in equality?
Well, I mean, I think that's a very vague question, but generally, of course.
Okay, so if you do, then all humans are equal, correct?
No, I don't think that all humans are equal, and I don't think you do either.
Oh, I absolutely think that all humans have a right to life, liberty, and a pursuit of happiness.
Really?
It's part of our Bill of Rights.
Okay.
And if you actually love our Constitution and our Bill of Rights,
Yeah.
then you would believe what I believe.
Well, I mean, it says people, but small distinction there. I want to ask you a question. Is it murder for a doctor to pull the plug on a brain dead patient in the hospital?
Some people actually write what they want done. You know, they say, hey, if I become brain dead, then pull the plug.
Yeah, but for instance, if they don't do that, okay, like, for instance, I haven't done that. If when I leave the set today, I get into a nasty car accident, I get T-boned by a drunk driver, I go brain dead, okay, would it be murder for, like, my family to tell the doctor at the hospital, well, because he's brain dead, let's just go ahead and pull the plug. Would that be murder?
I honestly, you're talking to someone that is very skeptical of doctors, okay? And even they talk about brain dead people that weren't actually brain dead.
True.
So that's why I always leave up to everything to God. So when I die is when I die.
I want to clarify
So
that.
I actually don't want to be killed. But now, if you're on all these machines to keep you alive, if it's months and months and you're not getting better, then you're using machines to keep you alive.
But they're still alive, and you still don't think it's murder to kill them. So you actually don't think that all humans have this intrinsic right to life? And by the way,
I never said no. You don't speak for me. Again, I just told you I don't believe in doctors.
Okay.
So I don't go to the hospital.
I have a very
that's insane. I have not gone to the hospital in a long time.
Okay. Well, I hope that
because
I want to add on a
believe
point of
when it's my
clarification here.
time, it's my time. Now, question for you.
All right.
So when do you think life begins?
I think that life begins at the moment of conception.
Good. I'm glad you believe that.
You're Christian and you base your morality
and that's
off
called
of
Science.
Christianity.
And see, it seems like
Can
the
I
people
ask you a
that say
question?
we're anti-science, they're anti-science because they don't believe man and woman. They believe gender.
Bro, Tio died.
Okay.
You made the claim that all humans are equal. Every single human has the identical right to life. That is a claim that fundamentally everybody rejects in one way or another.
I didn't say that. So see, you're putting more into the sentence that I did not add.
Your opener
I
was
said
about equality
for life,
for everyone.
Liberty and a pursuit of happiness.
Which
now,
would be
if you're a
the right to
murderer,
life.
I do believe in capital punishment, but because of your actions.
Okay.
So
That's
where I don't believe in equality. Is like,
Can we
is a
push
baby
the
and a
abortion
murderer
bill?
the same? No, because a baby's innocent. A civil society protects the most innocent and vulnerable. They don't go and murder them. That is a satanic society, and I reject a satanic society.
Okay, we got to stop there. You've been voted out.
Okay.
If you want to be the next debater, please get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, Tish.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Why should abortion be illegal?
Well, let me ask you something. Abortion is legal here. What procedure do you prefer? The suction, the dye, and the what is it?
I don't know. The most brutalistic, gross one where we chop up all their limbs and throw them in the trash. Listen.
Really, that's gross.
Okay.
That is so gross.
I know. I'm rage baiting you. Listen.
I have 4 children, a set of twins. I would never, ever do that to my children.
And
would you have your girlfriend do that to your child?
Well, ultimately, I think it's a
Or do you
choice
have a
of-
girlfriend?
I do.
Oh, you
Ultimately,
do?
I think that it's a choice of the woman. So if
Okay.
you want to tell me that you never get an abortion,
No,
all
I've
the
never
power
had
to you. I love that for you because that's your choice, and I think that's great. But listen, I don't think that abortion is murder because I don't think that there's any trait that we could identify to be true of a fetus in which we fundamentally would value enough to grant the right to life. The last person on the mic said, well, fundamentally, all humans have the same right to life, and that's something that we hear from a lot of pro-lifers. As I was attempting to communicate to her, everybody rejects that view in one way or another. So I want to hear your argument insofar as why it's morally wrong for a woman to get an abortion outside of its gross. Because grotesqueness doesn't arbitrate morality. Like, taking a shit's pretty gross. Shit smells like shit, right?
Okay.
But we're not going to say it's morally wrong to take shit, even though it's gross. So what's the argument that abortion is wrong?
Let me just ask you this. Everyone's really, really focused on, it should be the right for every woman. Why don't you think about it the other way and think about why don't you prevent all these women who don't want to have babies? Why aren't you guys helping them prevent pregnancy?
We do. I
Okay,
agree we should.
Yes, we should.
100%.
You
And
should
we need
be-
access to comprehensive sex ed in schools. We need free and fair access to
In schools?
yeah, of
At
course.
what age?
Is at an age-appropriate level. I would say starting in late middle school because I was in middle school. You were in middle school. We were all in middle school. The second thing that I think is also important here would be free and fair access to contraceptives, and we should also try to find ways to limit financial instability in young women and young men because the leading cause of women accessing abortion is financial instability. But you still haven't answered the question, and you've been up here for a
my
while.
first,
I want to hear why you think that abortion
guys
is
I
wrong. I think that you're
discovered-
struggling to come up with an argument.
Because it is murder.
And the definition of
It
murder
is.
would be the unjust termination of a human life. Explain why you think it's unjust.
First of all, a woman who has a pregnancy, a baby in there, they have the right to life too.
What grants the
If-
fetus the right to life?
What grants it just that it's been conceived?
Or the fact that it's a human?
It is a human.
Okay, so brain dead patients have the right to life too?
So what, brain dead?
Yeah, they're human.
You know what? I've heard of brain dead humans coming out of comas.
Then they're not brain dead. The definition of brain death is irreversible cessation of all cognitive function. Do humans who are biologically alive because of machines with irreversible cessation of all cognitive function have the right to life?
I haven't really researched that, so if there was no hope Possibly.
Okay.
They should. I mean, that's
So they
not
don't?
and that's not my decision to make. That's a family member's.
Okay,
you know,
okay, so
that's
you
not
think
my
it should be up to the choice of the family to kill a
You
human
know what?
that doesn't have the right to life?
Doesn't mean.
So you don't think that
but
all
if they,
humans
but
have the
if
right to
they're
life. So
brain
what is a
dead,
fetus?
but if they're brain dead, are they really alive?
Yes, biologically they are.
You know what? That's a determination that I would have to take with a medical doctor.
Let's say the same thing about women for abortion. Then.
No, I don't believe that a woman has that even right. That a woman should be able to get an abortion here in California.
Yeah.
No,
Okay,
I don't.
We have to pause there. You've been voted out.
Thanks for your time, Tish.
Okay, if you want to be the next debater, please get to the center chair in 3, 2, 1.
Hey, who's this guy?
Hi, Dean. I'm Enya.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So I couldn't hear a lot of what you were kind of saying a while ago, but what were you saying was brain dead people about if they should be unplugged?
Well, I brought up a brain dead patient as a counterexample to the claim that, well, the reason why it's immoral, the reason why it's murder to kill a fetus is because the fetus is a
You don't have a
member of the
peg
human
leg pirate,
species.
dude?
Yes.
So brain dead patients on a biological level.
And they should not be unplugged. And I think actually any argument that anyone makes for a brain dead patient to be unplugged is actually coming from the doctors who want to harvest organs and to promote the organ donation industry culture. And I think that any kind of promotion that even manipulates families into unplugging their brain dead relatives is also immoral.
Yeah, I think we agree. We agree on that.
And so
organ harvesting aside, if a family wants to unplug a brain dead family member because it's the end of the road,
that is immoral.
That would be murder?
Yeah. But I think the doctor, it would be murder from the doctor in the same way that
So you truly think it's murder to kill any member of the human species? What about a zygote?
that is also murder.
So if I kill a unicellular organism, I'm a murderer? Do you think that all murderers should go to jail?
Human zygotes, it's about humans.
So do you think that all murderers should go to jail?
All murderers should be put under trial.
Okay, if George's
tried.
better on the
but if
water,
they're truly
though,
murderers, like that's an uncontestable
peg
fact.
leg
Yeah, they
over
should be
there.
put to death.
They should be put to death.
I do believe in the death penalty.
Wow, okay, so here's the thing. Do you know what an IUD is?
Yeah.
So an IUD, an intrauterine device, in some circumstances,
know where you're gonna go
will
with this.
allow for conception to occur,
Yeah.
but then it will then it will prevent the implantation of the now conceived
The
zygote.
purpose of the IUD
Can you
is
please
to
allow me to
prevent
finish?
implantation. If it leads to death,
Yeah.
then it's not then it didn't fulfill its purpose. It went beyond that.
That's a secondary purpose. So the main purpose of an IUD would be to prevent conception, but when that fails, the secondary purpose is to then prevent its implantation. So if a woman knows that sometimes IUDs will allow for conception to occur, then they kill that conceived zygote, and they still yet choose to be sexually active, then inevitably they conceive a zygote, and it dies
I
because
think
the
that
IUD,
when people
under
have
your view, they're a
IUDs
murderer.
implanted, it is
Master,
not
though.
for anything beyond just the prevention. It is not done for the murder
Always
of
rock,
any
bro.
kind of implanted
Well, because
zygotes.
it's a secondary purpose and function of the IUD, if a woman knows that, then she's agreeing to the culpability of possibly having her actions yield the death of another person. Okay, and under your view and hopefully mine, that would be murder, given that the person that she's killing through her actions by secondary
But
order
that was not
is
the
valuable.
primary purpose of the IUD.
Well, if I buy a gun with a primary purpose of going hunting, but then one day I get really mad and I use it to kill my neighbor, okay, I'm still a murderer.
No,
if I
the
buy out my
primary purpose
car
of
for the
gun
primary
is
purpose
to
of
shoot. Your primary
better
purpose
example
is
is a car.
hunting. Your secondary purpose by that
A better
by
example is
that
a car.
argument was
If,
to shoot that
if I
person.
buy a car to get from point A to point B, but then one day I get drunk and I use it to like wipe out a family of 5, am I a murderer?
Yes.
Even though that wasn't the primary function of the car?
Yes,
Okay,
because
so
you
then even
use
though
that
killing a
car
zygote's
in
not
the
the
same way you
primary
use the
function
gun
of an
as a
IUD,
weapon. You use that
when it
car
does
as a
kill a
weapon.
zygote, under your view, it's murder.
But even though the primary purpose of the car is for driving, you used it for something beyond that. Its secondary purpose was not to be driven drunk and kill.
Well, the
5
secondary purpose of an IUD
secondary
is to kill a
purpose
zygote. But
doesn't-
listen, I think that ultimately the primary or secondary purpose argument is irrelevant because what we should be evaluating
agree.
is, did a valuable life die, and is a person culpable for the termination of that valuable life? And if a valuable life died and a person is culpable for the termination of that
because
valuable
it was
life,
used only
and
for
it
its
was not
primary
justified,
purpose
then
of
it's murder.
preventing the pregnancy in the first place.
Okay, so I just want to clarify. You don't think in all scenarios when an individual terminates a valuable life unjustifiably so, and they are culpable for said termination that they're a murderer, well, then you're just completely redefining what murder even is by introducing the abstract nuance of this quote-unquote primary or secondary purpose
You're the
argument.
one who brought that up
At
in
the end
the
of the
first
day,
place.
the fact of the matter is, in many scenarios, women will get an IUD knowing that in many cases, the IUD will lead to the death of a conceived zygote, and they will know it will lead to that in many scenarios, then they will still choose to be sexually active, and then the IUD will kill. Under your view, that would mean that that woman is culpable for murder. Therefore, under your view, that woman should be executed.
You kind of said a
We have
lot
to
there.
pause there. You've been voted out.
Okay.
If you would like to be the next debater, please get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Howdy.
Hi, Shannon.
Hi. Shannon, Dean, pleasure to meet you.
So I want to know why you think that killing babies should be legal.
Of course, because I'm a brutalistic Satanist, and I love the DNC, and I'm the leader of Antifa. Listen, the reason why I think abortion should be legal is because I don't think that abortion is morally wrong. I think it's a permissible action. And because I think it's a permissible action, I therefore don't see any good reason to infringe on a woman's bodily autonomy in the legal prevention of her access to abortion. Therefore, it's a human rights violation.
So you don't understand it as like killing, you don't think it's killing a human being?
No, I do.
And you're okay with that?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't
you don't
see anything
think that
morally
we
wrong
should
with it.
focus more on preventable measures because you don't have to have an abortion.
Oh, well, I also disagree there. I do think that we should focus on preventable measures. In my optimal society, there's 0 abortions, okay? Not because we're forcing women to not get them, but rather because the conditions in which lead women to get them don't exist, such as poverty, financial instability, a lack of sexual education, the failure of contraceptives. In my ideal society, those things wouldn't exist.
Do you know that if a woman gets pregnant and she's not financially able to keep the baby and she doesn't want the baby, she could at least take Plan B?
Yeah, and I think that that would be a good fact of sexual education to share with the world.
It's like
that
20
Plan B
bucks.
exists. Well, I mean, actually, Plan B is $55. There's off-brand versions that are 20, and I think that that is a good piece of recommendation. But ultimately, if they don't take a Plan B, or whatever like happens after the pregnancy, they should be able to access abortion. Hey, I want to ask you this question: do you think that victims of should be able to access abortion?
No, because they could also take a morning after pill if they get.
can't go
And
off it.
I would go take a morning after pill the very next day.
Wow. So you think that a victim would have an obligation to maintain a pregnancy? Is that because that if they were to like cessate or stop the pregnancy, the fetus would die? Okay, of course it is. So I want to ask you a question. Do you know who Max Irby is?
No.
So Max Irby is a 15, 14-year-old guy, and he's in dire need of a stem cell transplant. And this is a true story. You can look it up. And his stem cell type is so incredibly rare that his father set up a quote-unquote fundraiser for his son, taking random DNA samples in from people across the globe. So far, they've collected 40 million samples, and there hasn't been one match. What this means is that there's probably only one match alive on the face of planet Earth that could provide stem cells to Max Irby to save his life. So let's hypothetically assume that you are the one and only match for Max Irby's stem cell type, and the government finds this out. Then the government forces you to provide your stem cells to Max Irby without your consent for 9 months, introducing many physical and mental complications. Do you think that'd be just?
No.
No, because they shouldn't be able to force you to provide your bodily resources to another life, even if not providing your bodily resources would mean that other life dies. That's my position on victims of. They shouldn't be forced to provide domicile in their uterus and access to their bodily resources to the fetus, even if stopping the sustenance of those bodily resources to the fetus means the fetus dies. No difference than Max Irby.
This is a tough one for me because I have mixed feelings about it, obviously, because that's a horrible situation to be in. But I do, like I said earlier, morning after pill.
Well, could you respond to the
Okay,
argument I
we
gave
have
you?
to pause there. You've been voted out.
Hey, listen, I appreciate you for the respectful dialogue.
By the way, I want to tell you I respect you a lot.
Well,
I
thank
saw
you.
when you cried for Charlie Kirk. You actually have us all.
Have a good one.
If you want to be the next debater, please get to the
Our
chair in
princess
3,
finally.
2, 1.
Leon.
Hello,
Liana.
Georgia.
Georgia,
Of course,
pleasure to meet you.
Liana.
You said that
Meet
you
you,
work
Gene.
for a pro-life org?
Yes, I do.
Very, very
All right,
interesting.
let's talk about it.
Do you guys
So-
focus on like preventative means from pregnancy in the first place? Like, do you guys have like policy initiatives to like reduce financial instability or poverty?
So
in the
what abortion does is it
Which
incentivizes
kid
people
is
to live in a
most
promiscuous
worthy of
way
going to
that
the
further
king?
increases the rates of pregnancies that are not in a stable situation like marriage. And so I'm actually against contraception.
Being pro-contraceptive would save the lives of more innocent babies under your review because then there'd be
So
less
killing an
unwanted
innocent human
pregnancies.
being is always wrong. Abortion kills an innocent human being. Therefore, abortion is always wrong.
Yeah, I reject P1.
And allowing abortion just reflects our overall decay as a society when it comes to the way we view sexuality, marriage, and it just leads to a culture of death. When you have abortion, it leads to things like MAID in Canada. What abortion is we're allowing the government to have the authority to define when personhood begins because we're separating it from the moment of conception. And if it's not at the moment of conception, then the most powerful person gets to decide when it begins. And that's always subjective. And when more powerful people have that authority or allow themselves to have that authority to define when personhood begins, you have grave travesties like slavery, if it's a subjective line, then when does that begin? When does personhood begin? And when you say it doesn't begin at conception, it's actually what you're arguing is a very suspicious, mystical idea of when it does. And that sounds more superstitious than Christianity.
Well, thank you for your comments. About your syllogism, I'd reject P1. Don't think it's always wrong to kill an innocent human being.
To intentionally kill an innocent human being, you don't think it's always wrong to intentionally kill an innocent human being?
Like I've said
Why?
to the last 5 guests. I mean, we do that to brain dead patients all the time.
Okay, so that's to withhold care from them that sustains their life.
Okay.
That's different than intentionally going there and killing them.
Okay, so then you're on board with the abortion pill, withholding the progesterone supplied through the umbilical cord that would sustain the life of the fetus.
I'm completely against the abortion pill.
But it's just withholding care that would sustain the fetus's life.
It's different though in nature, because what we're doing is what occurs in the uterus is solely for the service of the fetus. The uterus does not exist to serve the woman; they exist to serve the child. What abortion is just the actual destruction of that child. It reflects the destruction of our idea of parental duty. Parents have a duty to care for their children. What's your question?
My question is, let's just like envision a hypothetical of like a 9-year-old girl getting impregnated, and we know that pregnancy is not going to kill her. Per your syllogism that you gave earlier, it seems to be the case that you'd argue it would be wrong for her to get an abortion. Is this true?
Abortion only continues to perpetuate violence, the cycle of violence. It only increases the trauma to that child. And what we would do, we would still try to minimize the trauma of pregnancy for that 9-year-old. I am completely against abortion in all cases, period. And that's the consistent pro-life stance.
Oh, babies.
What about when it's like the life of the mother on the line?
Okay, so that's nonsense. What we have is we have C-section. And so
what if it's before viability?
That simply does not happen. That simply
what if
is
it
a
did?
lie.
Would you be okay with it?
There's no what ifs. Listen.
No, it's a good question.
It simply
though.
does not
by the way,
happen.
it does absolutely happen.
Okay, our medical technology is so sophisticated today.
Can you just answer the question?
The idea that there is a black and white, the life of the mother. The technology we have today is where we can operate on fetuses, and the child can continue.
If a medical professional determines that a pregnant woman will die if she doesn't get an emergency C-section or abortion.
Okay, then do the emergency C-section, Dean. You just proved my point.
No, I didn't.
Yes, I did.
Because it's it's before viability.
Okay, when's viability? Viability is based on technology.
How do you recruit for a mace?
It is.
Viability
I
is
just
at
want
week
to ask
20.
my question.
One day viability might
So
be
the question
at
that
the
I'd
first
like
trimester.
the question that I'd like to ask you is, let's assume a woman is pregnant. It's before viability, per the technological innovations and standards in America, because that's where we
When
live.
does personhood begin, Dean?
I'll happily
When does it
answer
begin?
your question.
When should abortion be legal?
So I think that personhood begins around 20 through 24 weeks with the thymocortical
That's when
connections, the emergence
personhood
of a
begins?
mind. But my question is, if there's a woman that's pregnant,
Rickon, you
it's
wanna get
before
married?
viability, per like the technological innovation in America, and a doctor tells her that she needs to get an emergency C-section or abortion. It doesn't matter because either way it's going to kill the fetus. And the doctor says if she doesn't get this emergency C-section or abortion, then she's going to die. Would you be okay with her getting what? Interested. It's. I want to see where your ideological underpinnings fall.
So I noticed how that's one of your debate strategies. You corner us into these questions. I'll answer your question.
Thank you.
So what doctors do is they take an oath that says do no harm. Doing an abortion not only does obvious harm to the child by killing the child, but it actually does a lot of physical trauma to the mother.
Yeah, less trauma
It does a
than
lot of
childbirth.
trauma to the uterus. And not only that, but many women end up being suicidal after abortion.
Yeah.
But regardless of that,
Can you answer the question,
we have
though?
this very backwards view of the technology that we have now. There simply are not cases where women need to get abortions in
Notice
order
how
to
she's
save
not
their
answering
life.
the question.
Because it's not a scenario that actually exists. A lot of
Well,
these
then I'd
doctors are
highly
committing
implore you
medical
to do your
malpractice,
research.
and they're actually lying because
So,
they have an agenda.
If it were to happen, would you be okay with that woman getting an abortion?
Absolutely not, because that doesn't happen.
So if it did, you wouldn't be okay with her getting an abortion? That's
cases
insane.
in which it
Fuck.
does, see, we're
Okay,
talking
we got to
about-
pause there. We've got to pause there. We're kind of at an impasse. We've also run out of time, so we're going to move on.
My next surrounded claim is Donald Trump is a terrible president.
All right, if you want to debate this claim, get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
The seer is the.
Hi.
Hi, welcome back.
Yeah.
I don't know, let's see. Donald Trump is a terrible president because he slept his way to the top.
No, I actually think that.
Remember that? That was
Well-
brutal. Hey, listen, floor's
he
yours.
didn't do that,
Why
so-
do you support Trump?
I think that he has done
Because I
obviously
have
done a lot of
stars
things.
on
I
my
can't say he's a
face.
perfect person, but I do think he has done things to benefit us.
What is one macroeconomic indicator that's better off today than it was a year and a half ago under Biden?
Closing the borders.
So that's not a macroeconomic indicator.
Yeah,
a
it is.
macroeconomic indicator would be something like GDP growth, unemployment, inflation, jobs reports. And by definition, a macroeconomic indicator is just simply a gauge that we could use to determine the health of the economy overall. So
yes,
once again,
absolutely.
speaking about GDP growth, inflation, like wages,
Well,
so on and
health
so
of
forth.
the economy, if
What's
I can dive into that.
one indicator that's better off today than it was a year and a half ago under Biden?
The amount of drug use and fentanyl in society has gone down
Okay.
miraculously because he has
That's-
closed the border and illegal drugs are no longer allowed to come in.
You understand the question I'm asking you?
Yeah, I do, and I'm answering it.
So the amount of people that use drugs in society could, of course, influence macroeconomic variables. Like if everybody was drugged up all the time, nobody could go to work, right? So therefore, the macroeconomic indicator of like unemployment would be really high. Okay, so it's not directly the macroeconomic indicator, but rather it's an influence of the indicators. So directly, what is one macroeconomic indicator that's better off today than it was a year and a half ago? Keep it in mind that macroeconomic indicators are things like inflation, GDP growth, wage growth, real median wages, unemployment, job reports, so on and so forth.
Same thing. I'm going to go with drug use.
Dude. Okay.
Dude,
Listen.
girl.
So what macroeconomic indicators did drug use influence? Are you saying that
Okay,
now we have like a
can
lower
go with
level of
another thing
unemployment
about the
because of
border.
that?
By closing the border and not allowing illegal people in here, giving me and so many other people job opportunities that they weren't allowed to have before because
Yeah.
companies were employing illegal immigrants, just like the weed farm in California that Newsom was directly supporting. They
Yeah.
had
You wanna go work at the
children
weed
at
farm?
the age of 9 years old illegally here working for them. Those people are no longer allowed here, giving job opportunities to others. That is benefiting the economy.
Okay.
Period.
So is that why we added the lowest amount of jobs to the economy in 20 years, ignoring recessions last year under Trump? Is that why we have the highest
said
level of
they're
unemployment
opening
since the
opportunity.
pandemic?
Is it not
So-
opening opportunity?
Yeah,
by,
it's not. The reason
It
why
is.
mass
It
deportation.
is actually. It is.
The reason why
for-
mass deportation doesn't open up job opportunity in America is very simple. Because ultimately, undocumented immigrants as a demographic are very economically productive. They pay over $100 billion in taxes
And
per
those
year
jobs
on
are
the
now
federal, state, and
open for
local
real
level.
Americans
and they
to
pay
have.
in $1.1 through $1.7 trillion to the GDP
They
annually.
actually don't.
And according
They actually don't. Have you ever
So
met
that's
an
a
illegal immigrant that pays taxes?
So-
I'm sure you haven't.
So my source is the IRS. Do you think the IRS is lying?
Absolutely. I'm sure they can lie about statistics all the time.
So Donald
And
Trump's IRS is lying about how
it's
much.
not Donald Trump's IRS.
Well, that's what the IRS is saying today. Who's the president?
No, well, the
So who-
statistics
do you
came
know
in
who
from
Scott
years ago.
Bessent
You've
is?
used that since the last time we were here.
Do you know who Scott Bessent is?
No.
He's the administrator of the IRS. Do you know who he's appointed by?
Donald Trump.
Donald
I
Trump.
think.
And Scott Bessent and the IRS under Trump still report that. And listen,
And
it's
so you
it's
don't
not a
believe that
contestable fact.
removing a certain population
Proud
can allow
family.
opportunities for others to come in. You
Because it
realize
makes the economy less productive.
I have family
Yeah.
that are refused opportunities, health care, and
Mm-hmm.
other resources due to the fact that it's oversaturated by people who do not have a citizenship here. And by
Yeah.
closing those borders and not allowing those people to come in, it gives them the space to have that because that's what
Okay.
my tax dollars should be paying
So
for.
do you think that undocumented immigrants can access like federal Medicaid, Medicare,
They
so on and so
can,
forth?
actually. They
Do you,
can.
do you know what the Personal Work Order and Responsibility Act is?
I actually know that they can because I
Do
have
you know
family
what the
members that
Personal
can,
Work Order and
that can perfectly walk
Responsibility
in
Act?
and they can get checks month per month, living month per month, and we support that. Our tax dollars that we pay, we support
Can I
that.
get a yes or no? Do you know what the Personal Work Order and Responsibility Act is?
I believe it has something to do with jobs and paying taxes no matter your...
No. The Personal Work Order and Responsibility Act is a bill from the 90s that strictly limits and prohibits any type of federal public welfare benefit
And
from being
not
given
everywhere follows
to
the law, obviously.
undocumented
Here in California, we have...
immigrants. I'm going to continue to speak. There was one slight addendum to this with Obama's EMTALA, which just says that undocumented immigrants can get life-saving emergency care if they need it. But the point is, when you suggest that undocumented immigrants are reliant on these federal systems of
And
benefit,
they are.
anyway,
They
from
are.
Medicaid to Medicare to Section 8 to food stamps, they're not. It is
They are.
literally
They
illegal for them to
absolutely
collect
are.
those benefits.
And they do anyways because
listen,
states like
by-
California allow it.
So
we pay for it.
you're
I believe.
confused.
No, I'm not confused.
What you're confused about is a
I
difference
know
between
exactly what I'm talking
limited state-level benefits and federal benefits. So you're right.
about. But it still happens on some level. Can you acknowledge that?
In 10 of our 50 states, undocumented immigrants have the limited ability to collect
But
social
that
safety
still
nets.
that still is an ability, and,
And
my
that-
tax
and that's
dollars
fine.
in California are paying for it.
Well-
Yes.
well, actually,
can
their
we agree
tax
on that?
dollars pay for it
Absolutely.
because they pay
Well,
$100
guys,
billion
dollars
per
my
year in
tax
taxes,
dollars
and they
pay for it.
subsidize you.
And people like my brother with a disability that
Yeah.
truly need those things are being
They're
cut.
completely different systems.
They're being absolutely not.
Yeah, they are.
Nope.
What's Medi-Cal?
Medi-Cal? My brother gets Medi-Cal, and they also get
No,
Medi-Cal.
it's specifically
yes,
a
they
system
do.
of benefit for undocumented immigrants that no longer
my
exists.
brother
Your
literally
brother's-
just got something in the mail that says for Medi-Cal.
Your brother's on Medicaid.
No,
on
he's
the
not.
state
He's
level.
on Medi-Cal.
Listen,
honey.
the point that I'm trying to make here.
I'm filing for a conservatorship for my
So
brother. I would know
the-
exactly what he gets.
point that I'm
And
trying to
it's
make-
being cut day by day because of the oversaturation, the overpopulation of people we don't even know exist,
Okay, I'll
and we
wait
are
for you to
paying
finish.
for them. So
Okay.
do we not acknowledge that by closing the borders, like I'm going to go back to my point, just like you like to do with everybody else, I'm going to go back to my point that by cutting that population off and allowing more space for opportunity for Americans would benefit the economy.
So you're saying that you pay for the benefits of undocumented immigrants when they're paying over $100 billion per year in taxes on the federal, state, and local level. Well, guess what? They're paying for their own benefits in the 10 limited states that give them. In
No, they're
fact,
not. Do their jobs.
I mean, this is just anti-intellectualist propaganda. That's what the IRS says. That's what the Cato Institute, who's ran by libertarians, which is right-leaning,
That's
says.
disgusting for you to say.
Okay, we
I
have to
think it's
pause there. We have to
disgusting for
pause
you to be
there.
hating
You've
on
been voted
other
out.
I think it's just gonna
All
pretty
right,
much
if
set
you
up,
want to
you're-
be the next debater, get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, nice to meet you. Mari
Hi,
Carmen Berman.
ma'am. It's nice to meet
Nice
you.
to meet you too. I want to talk to you about my point of view
Sweet,
as a
crazy.
Mexican American Jewish. I'm not saying Trump is perfect, but I'm saying the reason I vote for him and I would vote again. First of all, I want to touch the point that she said about borders, but not about the people. I'm talking about the drugs and the traffic that is coming from my country.
Mhm.
And it's from my government, because Mexico has a narco government. You know who's the only one who has the guts to go right now and deal with the president? Trump, because the other administration didn't do it.
No.
Who went to bring Venezuela, Maduro to the jail? Trump. And this is affecting United States.
No.
I mean, I'm not saying everything he's doing is great.
Yeah.
And I'm Jewish, so I support Israel. Who is the only one who's supporting Israel? Trump. Otherwise, I don't know how we're going to be right now. I mean,
Oh
by
yeah.
God's help.
Let's support a state that's committing a genocide and
Oh,
ethnic
well, don't talk
cleansing of
about it because
Palestinians
that-
and Lebanons, and let's make sure to throw $1
Don't
billion
start genocide because
a
I'm
award
Jewish.
at
Yeah,
Skill
you're
13 of our
you're
servicemen
converted
and women
Jewish.
for another state.
Like, what are we
Per
talking
the
about?
testimony of
Mm.
Joe Kent. Listen,
This is
okay,
the
here's
first
my point. I
ally
want to
of the
respond.
United States.
I want to
Is
respond to the first
Israel
thing.
is the first ally of United States. So we
Yeah,
have the
we
right to
shouldn't.
support Israel. And you know what? God said to Abraham, I will bless whoever bless you, and I will curse whoever curse you.
Yeah.
If you want to be blessed, and this country needs to be blessed,
Yeah.
needs to bless Israel first.
Yeah.
Every single
Be the
country
prophet.
has been, every single country who has been cursed Israel is, look how they are
This
right
is
now.
religious
you know,
psychosis.
It's not
It's scary,
It's
dude.
genuinely
It is
religious
what it is.
psychosis.
Do you
You're
see how
saying-
Chavez ended?
listen,
He
you're
cursed
saying-
Israel from the
you are
his
saying-
intestine. He said it.
you are
from him,
saying-
and he's dead.
Okay. Yeah, we have to bless the ethnic expansionist, genocidal, terroristic state, or else we're all going to be cursed and die. I want to respond to the first couple claims that you made, specifically on topic with Venezuela and the border. So.
Ninjas at war? Who's the Night's Watch at war with?
With GoDaddy
That little
website
hound
Builder,
is.
you get the lowest priced website.
My son is
builder
the fucking
guaranteed.
regent.
So you can create a beautiful website for your business without overpaying. Packed with powerful growth tools to build your brand, GoDaddy Website Builder is the fast, affordable way to get online for less. Start today at GoDaddy.com.
Who brings in 70 to 80% of the drugs into this country per the Homeland Border
Mexico,
Security?
Colombia, Venezuela. Who is bringing them?
Yeah.
Who is supporting them? It's Mexican country, and I'm sorry to say it. I love my country, but my government
Yeah.
is
Okay,
disgusting.
I'll respond.
It's a
Thank you.
narco
Thank you for your
government.
response. So 70% of the drugs sold in America, brought into America, are brought in by citizens. Why do I bring this up? Because when we say that undocumented immigrants are the issue, they're the people that are just bringing all these drugs across the border, then they come here to like women and kidnap children, commit all these heinous violent crimes, is nothing more than is the demonization of a demographic that's
Okay, I
actually very
never said
beneficial
all the
to this country.
undocumented people are the one who bringing
But that's what Trump has
to
said.
become citizens.
And that's why you shouldn't support Trump.
I'm not telling you he's doing everything perfect. I
Yeah.
never say that. I'm talking about the borders that we have more than 2,000 miles border with
Yeah.
Mexico, And that's where they came the drugs, and that's where they came this trafficking.
I don't listen.
People
I actually
trafficking
through legal ports of
and
entry for the most part.
that
So
are
once
killing
again,
our people in the streets
so
right
one-
now.
So once again, a vast majority of the drugs brought across the border are brought in by citizens through legal ports of entry. And when I give you an explanation for this, it's going to make sense to you, because think about it. Okay, when a citizen is coming in through a legal port of entry, okay, well, nobody just has the innate right per the state to pull them over, scrutinize them, check every nook and cranny of their vehicle
they should.
because of our Constitution.
should.
But when they identify an undocumented immigrant, well, they already have an individual who's culpable of breaking federal law. So then they have all the rights in the world to detain them, arrest them, if they need to pat them down or check their vehicle. And that's why a lot of the drugs that come into this country will come in with citizens. But I think my larger point here is, I don't think that Donald Trump has secured the border. I think that the reason why we've seen such a drastic decline in undocumented entry has nothing to do with proactive long-term border policy, but rather to do with fascism and human rights abuse. There are people in this country that are getting illegally deported and then tortured in places like CCOT. Executive Order number 14160 attempted to unconstitutionally reclassify citizens as undocumented immigrants to be lined up and deported by the DHS, where we're watching people like Alex Preddy get murdered in broad daylight by ICE
I want to
agents.
answer to you before you continue. You're talking about legal and deportation. I used to be a foster care liaison. When all these kids in cages, that was not true. I was there. They called us for an emergency meeting, looking for families to support these kids. Meanwhile, they were reunified with their families. Reunification with their families. Yes, it was not true that was in cages. That was just the media, what they wanted to portray.
So
you
is
know
your
what
argument
I mean?
that Executive Order number 14160 doesn't even exist?
What I'm saying is the media want to say what they want to say because they have already,
But this isn't coming from the media. It's coming from
stop
the White
there.
House
You've been voted
website.
out.
All right.
All right, if you want to be the next debater, please get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, welcome in. I think we should start this off a little bit.
I didn't even sit down.
I know, I'm talking to you while you're standing up. Hi, okay. I'll slow it down. What's your name?
I'm Kaitia, but you can say Tia. It's a lot easier.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Tia.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for being here. Listen, I say we start this conversation off a little bit differently. Can I tell you why I think Trump is a terrible president?
That's what I was going to ask you. I would love to know, actually.
Perfect. Well, I break it down into 3 main categories. His domestic policy, his foreign policy, and his character, okay? He is the worst president of my life, the worst president of your life, and the worst president of the lives of every single person sitting in this circle. Let's start by evaluating his character. He's a 34-count felon, adjudicated rapist that has boasted about proving in the naked bodies of beauty pageant contestants, depicted black people as monkeys on his Truth Social, and was sued in the 70s for refusing to rent to black people because he thought that they were quote-unquote poor. And there's about a billion other things I could say because of the time on the clock. I'll keep it concise. We look at his domestic policy. There's not a single macroeconomic variable that is better off today under Trump than it was a year and a half ago under Biden. GDP growth is down. We got one of the worst jobs report in modern American history last year, adding only 170,000 jobs to the economy after adding 2.2 million under Biden in 2024. We see that unemployment is up. We saw 1.3 million layoffs. We see the highest increase in the price of gas in 1 month since the Vietnam War in 1967. Foreign policy is a disaster. He said he was going to end Russia's invasion of Ukraine on day 1. He didn't. He said he was going to bring us closer to our allies. Now they all hate us because we impose unconstitutional legal tariffs on them. He said he was going to be the president of no new wars. Then he started a new war of choice in Iran just to deflect away from the Epstein files. And this holistically is why I think that Donald Trump is a terrible president. The mic and the floor are yours.
Okay, thank you. So I haven't been in politics that long as far as like interest. It was like 2016 really opened my eyes. I never thought Trump had a chance, honestly. But I do seem to remember in 2016, a lot of the dialogue around his win was he only won because America's racist. Basically saying everyone who voted for him was racist. This is after 8 years of Obama, by the way, who got reelected. So based on that, and after 4 years of not being president and now he's back, why do you think that he won if he's one of the most terrible presidents in our lifetime?
Okay, yeah, I'll give a direct answer to that question. I first want to ask a clarifying one. Do you think that Biden was a bad president?
I don't want to talk about Biden because that's not why we're here.
Right. Okay. Well, I'd expect your answer to that question to be no, of course, but Biden got the most votes out of any president in history. We can't say just because people were willing to vote for a candidate to be president that therefore they were the best option. The reason why I think that Trump won the election had a lot to do with propaganda surrounding the negative economic impacts of the pandemic, okay? We saw 9% high levels of inflation, roaring gas prices, and I don't think that these things were caused by Biden, but Biden never was really too publicly outspoken about that, and I think that was a messaging problem with the Dems. The second reason why I think that Donald Trump won had to do with the fact that Kamala Harris only had a little bit over 100 days to run, which I also blame on Biden. He should have stepped down a lot sooner. But ultimately, I don't think Trump won Because he's a good president, and that's undeniable. Has your life gotten better in the last year and a half?
My life has gotten better,
And how
actually.
has Trump made it better? Tell me, specifically.
I honestly do feel safer with him president. I mean, we can beat a dead horse with the closed border. That means a lot to me. Like, I'm a mom. I have kids. It's important to me that, and I live in LA, which is like crazy, right? Do you live out here or no?
No, I don't. But you would be safer to leave your children with the average undocumented immigrant compared to the average citizen. They're 2.5 times
I would
less likely
actually
to
be
commit violent
safer
crimes
with
compared
my
to the average
kids
U.S. citizen.
in my home with me. That's why I
agree.
homeschool, and that's why I'm a... I'm a mom, and my children come first. So for me, being able to do that is a blessing. There's a lot of sacrifices that come with that, especially in this economy. I would be lying if I didn't say, like, it's difficult with the gas prices. It's difficult with the groceries and the tariffs. There's a lot of things.
I don't want a
similar to
Kraken
Biden,
man.
a lot. Inflation has not increased in the same amount as it did
I
under
don't
Biden.
want a man.
The money to Ukraine and the open border.
Wait.
You can look and you can
Jesus.
research about how much it cost us to
From the
send the amount of
fucking-
money that we did to Ukraine and what
How much money did we send to Ukraine
what it
over
did
4 years?
to affect our economy, and also with the undocumented immigrants.
How much money did we
they
send
are
to Ukraine?
getting Medi-Cal. They were getting money for food and free housing.
How
that
much
does
money did
affect
we
the
send to
economy.
Ukraine in 4 years under Biden?
You tell me.
$220 billion approximately.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing. If you're going to blame Biden's 9% high level of inflation on $220 billion spent over the course of 4 years, then why don't we see like 50% levels of inflation, considering the fact
Winter
that in the
roses.
last year and a half, Donald Trump has passed the big beautiful bill, which according to most estimates, is clocked in to cost us around $3.4 trillion over the course of 10 years. Or the simple fact that he's spending $1 billion a day on a war in Iran. He's going to spend just as much money on this war in Iran as Biden did in 4 years
I
on
think
Ukraine in less than a year.
I think
And on
that's
top of that,
something
the
we have to
cherry
wait
on
and
the
see.
cake, Donald
I
Trump
think-
has continued to fund
And I think the important
blaming a
thing
9%
is-
high level of inflation on $220 billion worth of
Why
expenditures
the
nuts,
war
especially
on
when we
Asian?
consider
That's my
that the
guy,
Biden-Harris
man.
administration spent half of what the
Rickon
Trump
is claiming-
administration spent in their first term.
I get what you're saying, and I think both of us, at the end of the day, we want what's best for America. I think we have different plans or strategies to get there. But the main thing I did want to come up here and say, I don't think you really answered it, was if Trump was the worst president in our lifetime, how did he win twice, if not 3 times, depending on who you talk to? Exactly. So
Yeah.
if he was that
Jeez.
terrible, either we're the, and I mean, you can say, are we dumb as a box of rocks? Like, are we the stupidest people? I've been told
Yes.
I'm internalized racism,
Do you want me to be
internalized
honest?
misogyny. I would love for you to be honest.
I don't think that anybody in the circle is particularly intelligent.
Okay, and I understand that that's how people see us.
Yeah, we're gonna
And-
stop. We're gonna stop there. You've been voted out. Thank
Okay.
you.
I
Return
don't
to
think
your
the
seat.
same,
Thank you
Dean.
for your time.
Thank you for your time, Tia.
If you want to be the next debater, get
I
to
don't.
the
I
chair.
mean,
in
Dean's so
3,
like sassy, but I
2,
like.
1.
I mean, I mess with him, bro. Like that was like, it's true. But they're all
Hi.
like.
My name's Leia.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Just a little background. I am currently active duty in the United States Marine Corps. I'm not here on
Be careful,
behalf.
hashtags.
I'm not here on behalf of the Department of War, by the way. I also grew up in Jerusalem, Israel. And I think that Trump has done a lot for me personally, and I feel like
IDF
that's what we
soldier
should
in
all
the
be here
military.
speaking about to an extent. I've gotten paid more under him. I've gotten bonuses under him. The military is tightened up under him, and from that perspective, he's my commander-in-chief, and I'm grateful for that.
Yeah. Out of everybody sitting in the circle, you have the most reason to not support Trump. Could I tell you why?
I would love to know why.
Because of your oath. You took an oath to defend the Constitution from enemies overseas and domestic, correct?
Correct.
Can we agree that an enemy to the Constitution, domestic or foreign, would be a person who thinks that the Constitution should be terminated, is intentionally and belligerently infringing upon it?
Can you go in depth with that, please?
Well, I mean, I think that is all the context that would be required to understand an enemy. If there's somebody that is intentionally and belligerently infringing on the Constitution, has suggested that maybe we should terminate it
He wants
before,
to be
can we
the
agree that
lordship
person
of
would
the
be an
Night
enemy
Lord.
to the Constitution?
That would be an enemy. I do agree with you, but I don't agree with you if you're saying that's
why
what
would
Trump has
that-
done.
December of 2022, Trump went on Truth Social and said that because of the 2020 election, the termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, including those found within the Constitution, would be allowed. And in the last year and a half of his presidency, he has directly infringed on the 14th Amendment, threatened the 1st, threatened the 2nd, infringed on the 4th, infringed on the 10th, and threatened to infringe on the 23rd, on top of Article 1 and 2. Donald Trump is a domestic enemy to the Constitution.
I do not agree with that whatsoever.
respond to the
just
argument
because you're stating all these things, kind of like a fact check, but
Yeah.
he
I can go through it if
hasn't
you'd like.
he hasn't actually put those in place?
Executive Order number 14160 was put in place. It attempted to take birthright citizenship away from the children born to undocumented immigrants on American soil. But that is a long-withstanding ruling from SCOTUS, regardless of its Plyer v. Doe in 1989, saying that undocumented immigrants are within the jurisdiction of the U.S., or U.S. versus Wonka-Mark in the late 19th century, arguing that the only people who do not have a constitutional claim to birthright citizen would be members of militant invading forces, foreign diplomats, and Native Americans, which was later updated through federal law. We know for a fact that the 14th Amendment covers the protection of birthright citizenship for the children born to undocumented immigrants. Donald Trump says, well, I'm going to change that. Passes an illegal, unconstitutional executive order stating otherwise.
Alan the Holy, that's kind of
a
dope.
threat to our Constitution that you as a member of our DOJ, as an active duty service member of the Marines, should absolutely protest and stand in wide opposition against.
So that I would not agree makes him a domestic enemy. This is militant. This is what I signed an oath for and what I raised my right hand for. It's militant, and that has not affected us in that military aspect. I don't think so. If you could give me an example of how so. As far as like immigration and all these people who have joined the military to get papers for their parents and stuff like that, whether they were born here or not, it's been in effect and it's been very helpful.
Like the Johnson.
What were your thoughts on Donald Trump calling for the execution of 6 sitting Democrats in Congress who reminded you to abide by your oath?
6 what?
6 sitting Democrats in Congress posted a video saying, if you're given a legal order, you don't got to follow it. And you should know that's what the UCMJ says.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And Donald Trump called for their execution because of that.
I don't know much about that,
yeah,
honestly.
I'll tell you.
Yeah,
So
please do.
He went on Truth Social. He responded to an article talking about the 6 Democrats in Congress who posted a video saying like, oh, you remember your oath, don't follow any unlawful orders if Trump were to give you one. And he calls them seditious traitors. Follows it up by saying traitors punishable by death, and then he reposts a follower's comment that says hang them George Washington would. Okay, so he falsely accuses them of a crime they didn't commit. You and me could agree it's not treasonous to tell the military not to follow unlawful orders. UCMJ once again. And then he says, well, because of this crime that he's accusing them of that they didn't commit, they need to be hung. That's him directly calling for the execution of 6 Democrats in Congress that were just simply reminding you of the UCMJ. How could you stand by such a maniac?
No, honestly, we have multiple times gone against if it does not follow along with the UCMJ throughout history in the military, and they've been awarded for that if our military leader, and for example, Donald Trump is one of them, but if they go against what the UCMJ does, we are allowed to go against that.
Yeah.
And so
that's all the Dems were saying, and then he said they need
Oh,
to
she
die.
can't have kids?
No.
That's the messed up. Sorry.
He said
That's
what?
messed up.
He just died.
I said that out loud. Like,
he said that their sedition is punishable by
diligent,
death.
rude.
Okay, the sedition
She's
that they
lustful
didn't
and
commit.
bossy, but
and
can't
then
have
he followed it up by reposting a comment that said, hang them, explicitly, hang them. That was him calling for their execution. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I feel like you're maybe one of the most reasonable people that I've spoken with today. You should be able to see this so clearly. And maybe this might even be an historical moment you're unsurrounded, where I'm able to change the mind of a guest on the show. That'd be huge.
That would be huge if it was going to happen, but it's not.
Oh, my
We're
goodness.
out of time. We have to pause there.
My final surrounded claim is Donald Trump doesn't give a shit about any of you.
If you want to debate Ian's claim, get to the
Donald
chair
Trump
in 3,
does not give a
2,
shit
1.
about any of you.
Hi.
Hi, Dean.
Okay, well, I think that my claim here is clear. Donald Trump doesn't give a shit about anybody in the circle. What I mean by that is just Donald Trump generally doesn't care about women. He's a very misogynistic asshole.
Promises made, promises kept.
Opposite. But
Number 1, he's got more women on his cabinet than most presidents did.
And he's fired, what, 4 of them?
Doesn't matter.
I think it does. Every person he's fired so far has been a woman.
perform, you fire them. Pam Bondi did nothing.
Yeah, she was a terrible AG.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She did, and he didn't like that, so we fired her.
Yeah. I think that she was a terrible AG for preventing the release of the files. I digress. I'm interrupting you. Sorry,
Well,
go ahead.
and he pardoned the G6ers, like he said he would.
Yeah.
And now he created a weaponization fund, which I think is great.
Good.
And he forego all his money, which is $10 billion, and he took $1.7 billion, 1776, to give to the people that refused to take shots, that were fired because they didn't want to get the vax, that were targeted by the Biden DOJ, grannies that were thrown in prison, people that literally just stepped foot on the Capitol grounds and were thrown in prison for years.
Yeah.
No tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, and the lowest prescription prices that we've ever had.
Okay.
Safe borders, no more child trafficking.
Okay, listen, let's
he
start.
cares about us
Let's start with that
immensely.
$1.8 billion slush fund.
Yeah.
You said it was his personal money. That's not true. It's funded by the taxpayers.
It's owed to him.
Secondarily, it is an absolute disaster.
Just like all the money comes
it's,
from
It's
taxpayers.
crazy that our president is willing to give $1.8 billion to people such as the J6 terrorists.
Well, they're not
Genuinely.
terrorists.
Well, I mean, I think they are. For instance, there were
Were you there?
176 people who were criminally convicted of deadly assaults on police officers. Take, for example, DJ Rodriguez, who drove a stun gun into Officer Fanone's neck while Officer Fanone was on the ground getting beaten with metal rods.
It's been
As the
proven.
crowd
First
was
of all,
screaming,
Lila
grab his
Morris-
gun and kill him. And then DJ Rodriguez pled guilty to doing this in court after Officer Fanone's testimony and his body camera footage proved
Are
it.
you familiar with Roseanne Boylan? She was beaten to death by an officer, Lila Morris. Okay, nobody talks about that. Ashley Babbitt was killed, shot in the neck. She was an unarmed woman, a military woman. There was no need for that. We went there. People went there peacefully and patriotically.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why they were screaming, "Hang Mike Pence," right?
Well, yeah, but nobody that I've
Was
seen.
that peaceful?
There was a lot of infiltrators. There was over 300 FBI agents in there.
Oh, really? Who's
Infiltrate-
FBI?
Exactly. Who's FBI? Right.
Who's
Everybody
president?
says that.
Who's president
But
on J6?
It doesn't matter.
It does.
I read about that the
Because
other day
it was
when
Donald
they said.
Trump.
I read that in Reddit. Who's
And by
FBI?
the way, who did Trump
It was-
pardon? Did he
it was
pardon the
under
Antifa
Obama.
infiltrators?
The
It was
Obama
under
FBI?
Obama was
That's
president
right.
on J6?
He wasn't Obama. He wasn't president on J6. President Trump was.
Oh, my
but
God.
Obama's the one who's been trying to persecute him. Obama, Biden.
So
since day
Obama-
one with the Russian dossier. Yeah.
So Obama infiltrated Trump's FBI
He's
and
the
implanted.
one. Not just Obama, but all the leftists, all the deep state.
My
planned
friend,
that.
you've lost your
Nancy
goddamn
Pelosi.
mind.
Nancy Pelosi.
Then why? Well, listen. Here's the real
Why didn't
litmus
they have
test.
National Guard?
Well, apparently Donald Trump had the ability to call them there, and this
He
has been
tried
proven
to.
by his second term. According to Donald Trump's second
Did you
term,
not hear?
he doesn't need to try to send the National
Did
Guard
you not
anywhere.
hear
He just
Nancy
simply can.
Pelosi where
But
she
I want
said
to do
it's
a
my
quick.
fault?
I want to do a quick litmus test on one of the claims that you made about all the J6 Antifa terrorists that were infiltrating the crowd to
I
cause
actually
havoc.
know that there was over 300 people dressed up as
So do we
Trump
agree that
supporters.
everybody who was criminally convicted on J6 has since been pardoned by Trump?
I believe so.
So Donald Trump pardoned Antifa terrorists?
And
And now he's offering them
a lot of
$1.8
them
billion.
didn't get charged, though.
Prove
A
it.
lot of the Antifa people didn't get charged.
Why don't you give me some evidence for that, ma'am?
Well, I don't.
Thursday, America's World Cup dream continues with a huge final group game against Turkey. USA, Turkey, Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern on Fox 1.
Did Ray
So you don't
Epps
believe
get
in
charged?
So you don't believe in things, right? Without
I
evidence.
believe in
So what's the evidence?
facts. I believe in facts.
Okay, so-
just like Donald Trump cares about the American people.
Maybe we should get
America
back to that.
first. Yeah.
Okay. So
Okay, we got to pause there. You've been voted out.
Have a good one.
All right. If you want to be the next debater, get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Howdy, howdy.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome.
Thank you. Would you like to carry on with why you think that?
Trump doesn't care about you, doesn't care about anybody in the circle, because he generally doesn't care about women. He has had a lifetime of vapid misogyny, like the fact that he's a sexual predator, that he's a rapist, that he's overturned policy that has led to 60 pregnant victims per day being denied access to abortion in 10 every 50 states, or an attack on our economy. Everything is worse off today than it was a year and a half ago under Giga Chad Biden. I don't think he cares about you.
He almost took a bullet for this country. And he's faced so many assassination attempts.
Yeah.
He faces threats, as you should
Obama
know.
faced 11.
You
Trump
cried
faced
with Charlie
3.
Kirk.
I mean, listen, specifically, this
11.
would be 10
Obama had
seconds or less so
11,
we can
Trump
get
had
back to the
3.
topic. I
Please
cried
don't brag
because
about it.
I thought
not
that
a
it was
thing
a
that's
mass
to be
shooting.
proud
My
about.
friend was less than 30 feet away. He FaceTimed me running away, saying, Dean, I think that there's a mass shooting going on. And regardless of the fact that I didn't like Charlie Kirk, I'll be honest, I think that he's despicable. He endorsed child torture. I still saw a video of somebody that I personally knew, okay, get their jugular ripped open by a bullet. It was rough. And yeah, I shed a tear. That was very intense. But listen, the
I think
topic
it really
is,
humanized you.
The topic is Donald Trump doesn't generally care about women. He doesn't give a shit about anybody in the circle. You're arguing that, well, maybe he does care about women because he took a bullet
Why
for
would
you.
he put his life on the line if he didn't care?
Well, I think the reason why
He
he's
made
willing
billions
to
of dollars,
take a bullet
dude.
to the ear isn't because he cares about you, or else we'd see that demonstrated through his actions, words, and policy, which obviously hasn't occurred.
Dang,
But
she
rather,
kinda
maybe you took a
sucks.
bullet because it was either the bullet or
He's
the jail
supposed to be the
cell for
shit.
his 34 felonies, attempted coup on J6.
Hello?
And he wants that power, he wants that adoration, he wants that glory, he wants that fame, he wants his name to be in the history books. That's why he's illegally placing his name on the Kennedy Center, or attempting to commit the conquest of America, usurping Iran to be the 51st state, Venezuela to be the 52nd, and Canada to be the 53rd. That's what he wants to get out of it. He doesn't want to help you, or once again, we'd see that represented through his policy, which we don't.
I vehemently disagree with that.
Huh?
He cares for law enforcement. He cares for firefighters,
No.
mothers trying to get pregnant. And it's disheartening that the way you describe Trump, it's like you're describing a leader in the Middle East, someone that's an actual dictator, an actual
He gives a
fascist.
face.
And it's for someone that has traveled.
Yeah, I mean...
And you describe Trump, it's like you're describing a leader in the Middle East, someone that's an actual dictator, an actual fascist. And it's for someone that has traveled.
Yeah, I mean,
and
true.
has seen how other countries operate. This is the best country in the world, and we're so lucky to have Donald Trump as a president. And I'm disheartened that you can't see that.
Okay, you said that he cares about law enforcement. Then why did he pardon 178 people who attempted to assault or
Ramsey.
kill cops on J6?
On January 6th.
Yeah, he pardoned, like we went over this earlier. DJ Rodriguez, okay, drove a stun gun into Officer Fanon's neck. Gave him a heart attack. He had to be raced off to the hospital. DJ Rodriguez was then thrown in jail for 10 years. Trump says he's a patriot, gives him a full and complete presidential pardon, and has now created a $1.8 billion slush fund that's going to line DJ's pockets. Dude, there's no way
send
he
you to
cares about
Ramsey.
cops if that's what he's willing to give to a would-be cop killer.
Well, honestly, I don't know all the details of that.
If everything that I just said was true, would you concede that Donald Trump does not care about law enforcement?
I would be curious why I don't know what information he has that I don't, so I would have to place my trust in the President of the United States.
Did you place your trust in
Okay, we got
Biden?
a pause there. You've been voted out. Please return to your seat. If you would like to be the next debater, get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, Liz.
Hi.
All right, well, I mean, you know my thoughts. I think that Trump is the worst president of your life, and I think that he consistently demonstrates that. through his
Betrothed to
rhetoric and
her
policy. What are
twin
your thoughts?
brother,
I
dude.
love Trump. And honestly, I love everything that Trump is doing with Israel. I'm Jewish. I'm very pro-Israel. I know how you feel about Israel, but I feel like you probably don't know the facts. I also love what Trump is doing with Iran, because if he does care about women, he wants to free the women of Iran from the Islamic regime. He wants to free the women all around the world.
Yeah.
And you see, tell me what you like about Iran or Palestine and how they treat women.
Well, I actually want to start off with a claim that you made about Iran. Is Donald Trump negotiating with the IRGC to achieve a denuclearization agreement today?
There's no negotiating with terrorists.
Okay, well, according to Trump, that's not true. He says that there are active ongoing negotiations and they're performing greatly.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so so the reason why I ask you this question is because the IRGC isn't going anywhere. Because Donald Trump has already said that he's achieved all of his military objectives in this war. He's already, quote-unquote, couped the IRGC and committed regime change by just getting more, quote-unquote, moderate voices to lead the IRGC. And now he's actively negotiating like a 30 to 50-year agreement with them so they will never have the ability to nuclearize again. What this means is that Donald Trump actually wants the IRGC to stay in charge of Iran, or else this denuclearization effort that has costed us 13 lives, $1 billion a day, and higher gas prices and oil prices everywhere would be for
Donald
nothing.
Trump wants
And
to
because the
completely
IRGC is
annihilate
not
the
going,
IRGC.
then he wouldn't be negotiating with him. He wouldn't be trying to get a deal with them. You don't advocate to get a deal with a party that you don't think should exist.
Here's the thing. Islam right now is taking over all of these countries. They've taken over most of Europe. They're starting to take over in the United States. He has to do this in a very careful manner. There are billions of Islamists who are trying to take over they will not stop
Oh
until
my
they
God.
have infiltrated every country.
This is
Their
so
words,
disgusting.
not mine.
This
How
is-
is how it's literally what they say.
It's
they
so
say they will not
gross.
stop until
No.
Islam is in every single house.
Okay, let's give this
Now
panel a
it's taking
second.
over
and let's-
all of these
let's
countries. They've
scream
taken
at
over
it
most
for a
of
little
Europe. They're starting to take over in the United States.
Scream
He
at it.
has to do this in a very careful manner. There are billions of Islamists who are trying to take over
This claim is false. There are about 2 billion Muslims worldwide, but Muslims are not the same as Islamists. Islamists are a minority subset of Muslims, not billions of people. There's no credible evidence that billions of Islamists are trying to take over every country or force Islam into every household.
Will not stop
Islam
until
is
they have
basically
infiltrated every
Christianity too.
country.
If you guys
Their
watch
words,
which
not
I did,
mine.
this is going to do an episode
That's
about
literally what
Islam
they
and
say.
Christianity.
It's
They
so
say they will not
gross.
stop
This
until
is one
Islam
nation.
is in every
That's it.
single household.
This
That
is
is
insane.
what
They
they
would,
say,
if
and
you
that
put
is why we
Islam
need
next to
Israel,
Christianity, they
and
would
that
be
is why
close
Trump
to
is going to do
like they would.
everything
That way
he
you would probably
can
get
in his
mixed
power
mistake.
to
Yeah,
annihilate
such
the
a good.
IRGC, which is what needs to happen.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so first and foremost, if I could compulsorily puke on this table without getting you dirty, I probably would, because everything that you just said was legitimately disgusting.
How is that
First and foremost,
disgusting?
for you to demonize and turn all Muslim people alive
Not all Muslim, no,
into
no,
this
no.
into this
Islamists.
monolith.
Islamists,
You said that there was
extreme
you said that there were billions of Islamists infiltrating
are.
every crook and cranny of the world.
They are.
So I think
Have you traveled?
Listen, I think that we
Where was the
absolutely
last place you traveled to?
let me
Internationally?
respond to what you said.
Or have you gone to New York?
I think
where
that
they're literally doing
that
prayer in the
international?
streets?
Yes, if you pray in public, then all of a sudden you're extremist. Go tell that to every Christian evangelical that put their hand on Trump's shoulder in the Oval Office on camera. It's different because it's another religion.
100%
Exactly.
different.
When it's
Because
about Jesus. No, listen to what I'm saying here.
Listen
to what I'm saying here. Listen to what I'm saying here. When it's
They
about
don't?
Jesus,
Christians don't want to go to every single country and take over?
Oh, right, and that's why they're going into the West Bank. That's why they're going into Gaza.
But that's why you won't let them into
Israel
America?
backed out of Gaza in
Listen to what I'm saying here.
2005. Get your facts straight.
And what's going on in the West Bank today?
Hamas has literally been in charge
yeah.
of Gaza since 2005.
And what's going on in the West Bank today?
It is a recognized terrorist organization.
And what's going on in the West Bank?
Israel literally has backed out. When you have people, you have a tiny little country
My son,
the size of
my
New Jersey,
grandson.
you have
Listen,
every
we're getting
single
all over the
country
place.
around
We're getting all
attacking
over the
it.
place.
What do you think is going to happen?
Well, let's hone this in. Well, what I wouldn't want to happen is like vapid war crimes,
Do you
like
think
leveling
that
a
Israel should
25-mile
exist?
radius. One moment. I don't think that any country has an inherent right to exist. I think that people have a right to self-determination. A country is a collective of people. Countries in and themselves are not moral entities.
Explain
I
to
am
me.
explaining it to you.
No,
Let
no,
me speak. I don't want you to interrupt me. I want to answer your last question. You asked me a good one. You said, Dean, do you think that Israel has a right to exist? I think that question is incomprehensible. And the reason why I say that question is incomprehensible is because a state is not a body in which has rights. People are entities in which have rights. A collective of people collectively have a right to self-determination. But the social construct of a state and a government is just a figure of our imagination through the collective of civilization, not an entity in which has rights.
How many Jewish
I wanna
people live in
respond to-
Palestine?
I want to be able to respond to
How many
everything.
Jewish people live in the 57
Liz,
Muslim countries?
Liz, what you're
I just
doing
wanna
is you're
know.
attempting to overwhelm me with questions, which is a gish gallop. I want to ensure that I have proper time to go over every statement that has left your mouth, particularly the first statement that you made about the billions of Islamists calling them radical because they pray in public. Christians
That's
pray in
not why I
public
call them
all
radical
the
because
time.
they pray in public. I call them radical because they literally say that they will not
No.
stop until Islam is in every single household in every country, and
So,
they have completely taken over. And
I
you can
think
see
that-
them say that everywhere.
I think that every mainstream religion, wishes that everybody on earth agreed with
Not
their
at
religion.
all. No.
Yes, of course they do. Let me
No,
explain to you why.
Christians
Are you
don't
are you a Christian?
I'm Jewish.
Okay, here, listen. I'm gonna ask you a question to the Christians in the circle. Do you guys think that the only way to get to heaven is to have faith in the gospel?
Jesus Christ.
Amen. And now I want you to put your flag down, okay? If you don't want everybody to go to heaven, everybody still has their flag up. What that tells me is that everybody with their flags up thinks that the only way to get to heaven is to be a Christian, okay? And they want everybody to go to heaven. What does this mean? They want everybody to be a Christian. So from this line of argumentation, everybody with their flag up is a radical extremist, no different than the Islamists that want everybody alive to believe that Muhammad is a prophet.
Okay, I have a question for the circle. All of the Christians in the circle, do you believe that if someone does not recognize Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior, that they should be killed?
Base.
Islam does.
So
no, they don't. No, they don't.
Okay. Yeah, so that's a really argument to rebuttal. Listen, I agree that when you read the Quran and the Hadiths through a particularly fundamentalist scope, you could absolutely yield the conclusion that we should kill everybody that's not a Muslim, 110%. And I disagree with that fundamentalist interpretation of the Quran and the Hadiths. And I think the people who don't are crazy. But we could do the same thing to the Christian Bible. When we look at the Christian Bible and we read it through a fundamentalist scope, well, then all of a sudden it is totally okay to own slaves because of Leviticus 25 verses 44 through 46. Genocide is totally fine sometimes because of 1 Samuel 15:3, and sometimes it's okay to impregnate kids because the historical representation of Mary's age under a fundamentalist scope. under a fundamentalist scope is that Mary was around 13. And the reason why I'm giving you the fundamentalist interpretation of the Christian Bible isn't to shit on Christianity as a whole, but it's rather to say that when you read any religious text through that fundamentalist perspective, you could always yield grave immoralities, like
severely
slavery,
injured,
pedophilia, or killing people who disagree with you. But the thing is that a lot of Christians, alongside a lot of Muslims, don't hold to that fundamentalist interpretation of their respective religious texts that yield those grave immoralities, and rather practice their religion in a quite benevolent way.
The issue is you have people in Iran who are literally suffering, people who had to flee Iran 47 years ago, who are still suffering to this day, people all around the world, because the Islam extremists, the ones who are also in charge of a lot of these countries, will kill you. They will behead you. They will do whatever they can to harm you if you do not believe with what they believe in, if you do not agree that the Prophet Muhammad is the one and only and Islam is the only religion, and that should be allowed in the world.
Right.
So that's the thing. We are dealing with this today with Islam, and that's where the issue lies.
Okay, we're going to stop there. We're out of time. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the dialogue.
All right, I just want to give snaps to everybody in the circle so far. Good job. Dean, snaps to you. Good job. Let's take a breath. It's been a heated episode. For the last portion of this video, I ask that you look around the circle and select somebody who you want to come back to the center and debate their claim with.
Oh God. See, there's so many options here. I don't know. People might hate me at home for this one. I wanted to respond to what she had to say. Yeah, let's do it. Get up here.
Yes. Well, I'll give you credit. You're brave to pick me, so that's good.
Or dumb.
My surrounded claim is that Democrats sold our country out.
Can I have an explanation of what you mean when you say that?
Well, first off, their open border policies, sanctuary cities, which are completely unconstitutional. Thank God we have Sheriff Chad Bianco running for governor. Hopefully we'll eliminate that. They said Russia, 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 right? About President Trump. Well, who sold our uranium to Russia? And I love when Trump was talking to all of these European countries. He says, you guys keep screaming Russia, Russia, Russia. Why aren't you buying oil from us? Why are you buying it from Russia? So there's so many good things that
because
Trump
oil
has
is
done,
still needed, and we put it back.
I'm from Iran originally. The fact that Obama gave boatloads of cash to that evil regime makes me so angry. So I love that Trump annihilated General Soleimani and a proxy guy in Iraq, offed him because he killed 10,000 people, including women and children.
Okay.
So,
a lot.
Yeah. So I am so happy for him getting rid of the nuclear facilities, along with Benjamin Netanyahu,
super sick,
with the intelligence that they brought
if he
in,
dies,
the
his
weapons,
twin's gonna have to
and
come up
they
with
are our only allies, and the liberals hate Israel.
Yeah.
This was like it could have been World War III if we didn't get rid of this stuff. You and I might not be here the next 5-10 years.
You should hate Trump then.
Oh, I should love him because he just stopped World War III. He stopped the deep state from destroying this world. And that's what Marxists do. That's what Marxists do. They have no grip on reality. They have no God. And they don't understand what's actually going on because they're more concerned about putting men in women's bathrooms in their sports.
Oh my goodness. What's a communist? Can you define that word?
Yeah, it's somebody that thinks that we should not have our own private property. So the government gets to choose, which is, I don't want the government to be my mommy and daddy, okay? It's supposed to be a representative government, which is called a constitutional republic. We are not a freaking democracy.
Okay. Well, we're not a democracy.
Yes. Go look at John Adams and what he said about democracy.
So first and foremost, you weren't necessarily right about what a communist is. Communism is a stateless, classless, moneyless society. Now, on to your second point here about
and did it work? Did it work? Have you watched Dr. Zhivago?
Can I respond? So you said that we're not a democracy, we're a constitutional republic.
Correct.
So a constitutional republic would be a type of representative democracy. And what I mean when I say that is these two phrases are used interchangeably. Because under a republic, we have duly elected leaders that then represent, the interests of the constituents of the nation. Under a representative democracy, we have duly elected leaders that represent the constituents of the nation.
A democracy is minus a constitution and the rule of law. So
What?
So it's basically, if you're saying you're a democracy, the 51% could go and kill off the 49%.
That's called a direct democracy.
So, but yeah, pure democracy.
When Donald Trump said that he took a bullet for the American democracy, he was wrong?
Well, he likes to use that word, I think, to reach
So,
out
but he was
to
wrong,
the
right?
Democrats. I believe he's wrong because I don't
Damn,
believe we're
okay.
I don't
Don't
believe
take a
we're a
vote for the American
democracy. I
democracy.
don't like the word democracy.
All right.
I have a twitch when
Yeah.
I hear the word because
It's almost just like you go
it's
crazy.
democracy, hypocrisy, bureaucracy. I mean,
Okay.
it's just
Okay, now
just
another claim they made there is that
it
about
makes
the
you, if you want to
is
throw
that
up, I want to throw up when I hear the word democracy.
yeah, MAGA. So listen.
Okay, it's you said MAGA like a swear word. Why did you say that like a swear word? Isn't that a good thing? Make America great again?
Well, what's not a good thing is saying that you're making America great again by taking health care away from 10 million low-income Americans like Trump did,
He
taking
did
food
not.
stamps
He
away from
actually
3
helped
million
healthcare.
low-income Americans
He
like
got
Trump.
rid of
Okay,
the fraud
can I,
in the
can I
healthcare.
speak?
Yeah, but
Thank you.
you're
So I'll go
lying
ahead-
right
so
now.
I'll go
You're
ahead-
lying.
So I'll go ahead and restart, and I'll give you my sources at the end.
Okay.
Composure is important, man.
You're going to talk down to me? I'm your elder. You have respect for your elder.
So, first and foremost, Biden is your elder, and you don't have any respect for him.
Well, because
so let's
he's,
stop it with the
he's,
hypocrisy.
no,
Just don't
he's
allow me
an
to
evil
speak.
man.
You asked me, why do I use MAGA like a swear word? Because Donald Trump has used that phrase, make America great again, to represent actions like taking health care away from 10 million low-income Americans through the big, beautiful bill. Per the reports from the Congressional Budget Office, which is ran by Republicans, liberal estimates are a little bit higher, at like 17 million people. Took food stamps away from 3 million low-income Americans through the big, beautiful bill as well. And according to the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, he reduced the purchasing power of the average American making at or under $51,000 per year. He refused to abide by the order to pay out food stamp benefits
What a
for
way
12
to
million
end the
starving children in
night!
America during the
Oh
last 12
my
days in the government shutdown.
God!
Okay, he's abused his power and privilege as the president to position himself above the law. One of the last.
What a way to end the night! Oh my God! Eddard! No! My God! This is the first time I've ever had somebody die. As we go. Boom, 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 boom. Tell me what you gonna do. You ain't gonna run when judgment comes to you. Judgment done. Yeah, what you gonna do? You ain't nowhere run. Judgment comes for you. Is money? Money. Everybody. Why they say he's an adulterer? He was he led the North to the shit. What? I'm united the kingdoms. Should I be Rob? Rick Gun's got a cool story. Wow. Wow. I honestly think we'll continue as Rob, but we're gonna stop it for now. Rob, you're gonna have to inherit the kingdoms. I gotta read all that next time. Oh, Rob. You got such a big shoes to fill, my guy. But at least you have decent children. And a beautiful wife named Daenerys, who probably is still bearing for more children, still able to have more children. Oh, R.I.P. R.I.P. Ned. R.I.P. Ned. R.I.P. as we go. I have to pause it there for the night. Oh man. He acquires ice, the crown of winter roses. Gee, cannibal, man. Man. I did not see that coming. I should not have went 100. That stupid moose! Fucking moose! The moose killed me, bro. I'm just gonna do Jubilee now. We'll save it in the last bit of the game. Last bit of the episode. I think like it. 5 minutes left. 10 minutes left. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. R.I.P. Ned. Play a little store. Or we'll just watch the end of this.
First and foremost, Biden is your elder, and you don't have any respect for him.
Well, because
so let's stop it with the hypocrisy.
He's evil man.
You asked me, why do I use MAGA?
Evil man.
Because Donald Trump has used that phrase,
I'm not even like a Joe Biden fan, but there's one thing he's not.
Actions like taking health care away from 10 million low-income Americans through the big beautiful bill, per the reports from the Congressional Budget Office, which is run by Republicans. Overall estimates are a little bit higher, like 17 million people. Took food stamps away from 3 million low-income Americans through the big beautiful bill as well. And according to the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, he reduced the purchasing power of the average American, making at or under $51,000 per year. He refused to abide by a court order to pay out food stamp benefits for 12 million starving children in America during the last 12 days of the government shutdown. Okay, he's abused his power and privilege as the president to position himself above the law. One of the last things that you said when you were up here on the last prompt was, oh, I thought everybody was above the law, except for Trump. Okay, a couple weeks ago, we woke up in a new America with a new system of justice where you and Trump could commit the same crime, tax fraud. You could be thrown in jail for it, and he can't even be investigated for it because of his deal with the IRS.
Yeah,
and
that's
all
like the most
things,
corrupt thing
when
I've
they
ever
are
heard in my
used
entire life.
to
His
represent
family
claim,
members
make
too.
America great again, absolutely do make MAGA a slur. It's embarrassing to be MAGA. I mean, get a grip, you guys. Get a grip. And I said a lot there. I'll let you to respond. But I have so much else to say.
So much.
Like how we need to prevent Iran from getting nukes. We're at a
We
worse
wouldn't.
place with Iran today than we were 10 years ago, thanks to Donald Trump.
Not
Obama
true.
got us an agreement to prevent them from nuclearizing until 2030. Donald Trump tore it up because it has Obama's signature on it. And about the whole respect your elders thing. So you can't expect me to respect you because you're older than me. If you're going to turn around and call Biden a good American man with great domestic policy, one of the best presidents in modern American history, a crazy lunatic, evil man with a crackhead
he
son,
sold our
even though he's 30
country
years
to
your elder.
Ukraine.
He sold our country to Ukraine. Where's Ukraine
I'm
at?
not gonna get, you're not gonna get the $1 million loan unless you stop this investigation to Burisma.
As Vice President Joe, yeah, good pause on this. As Vice President Joe Biden did say, he told Ukrainian leaders they would not receive $1 billion U.S. loan guarantee unless they remove prosecutor General Viktor Shokin, and Shokin was subsequently fired. But that demand reflected broad U.S., European, and international anti-corruption policy at the time, which viewed Shokin as ineffective at fighting corruption. So he was corrupt, basically, not in an effort to protect Burisma or Hunter Biden. Multiple inquiries in the U.S. diplomat witnesses have found no evidence Biden acted to shield his son or Burisma, and temperate accounts indicate Shokin was not actively pursuing a serious Burisma case when he was pushed out. But let's also then research all the in front of our fucking eyes corruption that Trump and his sons are doing. Like, in front of our eyes. All the military deals, the drone deals, the deals with Russia, the crypto coin, the Saudi Arabia stuff, Jared Kushner being overseas doing stuff, but he's not even a freaking person in the cabinet, but he's still representing us, but he's also representing his company making billions. The crypto stuff, like I said before, where they're literally just having a cryptocurrency that they can't trace, they don't gotta track and say who's donating to what, so then people can just donate billions to Trump and get freaking pardons and get deals and all that. But no, Hunter Biden and Joe Biden and Ukraine, you sold out to Ukraine. Where? Say one word in Ukraine. Say one Ukrainian word. We're sold out to Ukraine.
Which his son was a part of and had zero experience.
That's illegal. That's extortion. Why isn't he in jail?
So he should be.
Why is Trump throwing him in
because
jail?
the deep
That's
state, the judges, they have so much. They've infiltrated this
I've never seen
country.
Donald Trump
anybody
just
in my
hired
life
400
where
new
it
judges
doesn't-
that are loyalists to him. Why doesn't he use one of them to get Biden thrown in jail?
Because unfortunately, he doesn't get to pick which judge is used, and a lot of these judges are just evil.
Why hasn't he even tried? He hasn't tried.
There's been so many lies coming from your mouth. I'm like
Nobody
twitching
does.
over there. Every lie
Why
that I
isn't
hear.
the DOJ
You
trying to get
said
an
people
indictment
died
against
on
Biden?
January 6th.
I said that they tried to kill cops.
No, they did not try to kill cops.
Yes, they
It
did.
was self-defense.
stabbed him
They
in
were
the neck
being
with a stun
attacked.
gun.
4 patriots died that day, and you don't hear anything except for the one that got shot by the cop. Yeah.
How about this? Can I ask you a question?
There's 4 of them that died, and 0 cops died that day. 1 cop died the next day at 9:30 p.m. from a stroke.
Yeah.
So that
Why?
was a lie.
He
And I
got
feel
stabbed in the
bad
neck by
for
a fucking
people
stun
like you
gun.
in your age
Or
because you're
stress
being
of the day
indoctrinated with
before.
all this evil. You have no appreciation for life. You're
Yeah,
willing
Dean,
to kill the
you're
most
so much-
innocent and
so much
vulnerable.
stronger than
But
anybody
if
else,
you were
brother.
the baby in the womb, guess what? You wouldn't want to be aborted. You'd be like, "Mommy, please save me, please."
Yeah.
I don't even know what to respond to. There's just a bunch of, it was a big mess. Hey, listen, let's go ahead and start off with this. I want to ask you some general questions about your political beliefs, because I believe that you hold them without much information. Name one domestic policy that the Biden-Harris administration influenced to get passed through Congress, then signed into law that you don't like. Keep in mind, once again,
Well,
a
okay.
policy is a bill passed through Congress and signed into law.
So I don't know that. I just know what he
How
was
many
saying.
amendments are there in the Constitution?
The fact.
How many amendments are there in the
I don't
Constitution?
know exact off the top
You don't know
of my
how many
head.
articles?
Okay, can I?
How
can
many?
I-
How about this?
Okay,
How many
again,
continents are there?
You know a lot
How
of
many
information,
continents
and I'll
are there?
give you that.
How many
Okay?
continents are there?
Okay,
Ma'am, how many continents are
there's
there?
hundreds, but I.
Hundreds?
7. Oh, 7 continents. I thought countries. Sorry, countries. I thought you were
There's
talking about
900.
countries. This is. I'm not doing an
There is
information
100
war. I'm doing what I saw him
There is
do.
100 countries.
He glorified a man on Women's Day. He's trying to destroy reality of men and women. That is a bad thing, and that's a Marxist thing. So, you're asking me all of these questions because you're trying to get me. Okay, yeah, I might not have all of these little things that you remember, but what I
Confidence in
know
little.
is common sense. And Biden's administration is not common sense. They sold us out, just like
This lady is
Obama,
crazy.
giving money to our enemies instead
Ukraine is
of
our
helping
enemy?
our allies like Israel, who was the only country
Bro,
to stand and
you should
take down
love
those
Obama for
nuclear
that.
facilities
Listen.
that could have caused World War III. Let me finish.
Okay.
World War III, except for Israel. Israel
Yeah,
is
if
the
I were on
only
the
one.
show, this is all I
And
would do,
Donald
is
Trump
just,
asked other
yeah.
countries to help because they were affecting them too,
Yeah.
and they had their tail between their legs and did nothing.
So, ma'am, the reason why I picked you to come up to the microphone knowing that it'd be a disaster is because I think that you are a very accurate representation of where the right is at today in modern political discourse and American politics. I think that you and many others are clueless people who don't know what they're talking about, have done no previous investigation or research into the American political system, can't even name a bill that Biden passed that you disagree with, yet you think he's a devil, and blame Obama for all of your problems, including the FBI, quote unquote, going into the
January
J6
6th.
riots 4 years after his administration was over. And I think that it is very important for you, me, everybody in the circle, and everybody watching at home to start caring about the world that we live in, start caring about critical thought, and doing investigative research into our beliefs and why we believe them before our world has gone to this shit of baseless claims, propaganda, and just putrid nonsense that is highlighted in the mouths and brains of politicians, the president, and cable news. It's important for us to think critically, and that's something that I don't think you do.
I think it's just straight up one word: projection. Left always projects. That's it. You're projecting all
You're
of
projecting.
your faults on me because I actually have life experience, which you don't have, and I have
He
been
has
a
no life
liberal,
experience?
and I stepped out of that when I saw what they were doing with my child at school, who I pulled out and am homeschooling.
I've been on the earth for less years than you
Yes.
have, but I've done more with the years that I have.
Okay, we gotta stop there.
Okay.
Thank
You
you.
don't
Let's
even
give
know
them
me to
a
say that.
let's give them a round of applause for trying. Let's give a round of applause to Dean. Thank you, Dean. If you want to let us know what you thought about this episode, leave a comment, but actually don't do that. Just go for a walk, take a breath. That was a pretty heated discussion. Tune in Wednesday for a follow-up discussion with some of the people in this episode. Thank you for watching. Maybe let us know who you want to see in the center next time. We'll see you next time.
Me. Send me if you want to see some action, because I'm just gonna be.
Seeing people be so lost in their delusion, and these people who believe in these things so undoubtedly with such a high level of confidence are morons.
Well, Dean is the typical liberal man, and he will insult you when he's losing an argument. How many times did he insult me? We had to stop.
I think that MAGA women often
Once.
get mischaracterized as uneducated or that they're oppressed.
Actually,
And
I
honestly,
did.
a lot of MAGA women have come from liberal backgrounds. They've taken a lot of thought into why they believe what they believe.
We're all MAGA in our own unique ways, and I feel like people try to kind of put us in one sort of box. And I think MAGA is about being
Sure, in a
a
way.
free thinker and having some common sense.
I hold on to this baseline assumption that although maybe not all humans are rational, all humans have the capacity to be rational to the extent required to unify as a nation politically over such obvious truths.
Dude.
From
So, that was that. It was a fun Crusader Kings ep. That Drewbilee was insane. I want to go on there, but like eventually, like I'm just gonna snap. I'll just shut down. Like this is pointless, man. Like they're saying like Trump was sexy. Like we're at that point. We're at that spot where we're calling an 80-plus-year-old man sexy. Like that's where the cult's at. So I'm gonna do like I said. I'm gonna go touch some grass. I'm going to take a walk. I'm gonna try to clear my mind because that was insane. Shout out to anybody who watches. Shout out to whatever recorded comes out of this. Love everybody here. Love everybody always, except for one person. That's the person they were just talking about, Trump. Remember, be who you needed. You know what? Let's take a lesson out of little Mr. Rogers here. We'll go page 1. This is one of my favorite books, and it's a small version because the big version got chewed up. But we're gonna go with one of the first things from it. It goes in little chapters. I'll read the foreword real quick. There were always quotes tucked away in Fred's wallet. This is from his wife. Next to his neatly folded bills or in the pages of his daily planner book. Perhaps he liked having words of wisdom close to him, as if he wanted or needed to be constantly reminded of what was important in life. Outside world may have thought his qualities of wisdom and strength came naturally to him, but those close to him knew that he was constantly striving to be the best that he could be. He was as human as the rest of us. I feel that to the fucking core, dude. The person Fred became in his later years came out of growth and struggle. As he got older, it seemed as if nurturing of his soul and mind became more and more important. If I were asked for 3 words to describe him, I think those words would be courage, love, and discipline. Perhaps in that very order. When I think of the entire persona of Fred Rogers, my inclination is to put him on a very high pedestal, despite the frailties that are part of being human. Oh, did I mention that what a kind person he was? I suppose that is part of everyone's experience of Fred, even those who knew him for only a couple minutes. I don't mean to sound boastful, but he was my icon before he was anyone else's. Being Mrs. Fred Rogers has been the most remarkable life I could have ever imagined. Oh, that's like what you want someone to say about you. That is what you want your wife to say about you. The first chapter is the courage to be yourself. Discovering the truth about ourselves is a lifetime's work. but it's worth the effort. Discovering the truth about ourselves is a lifetime's work, but it's worth the effort. Some days doing the best we can may still fall short of what we would like to be and able to. Some days doing the best we can may still fall short of what we would like to be able to do. But life isn't perfect on any front, and doing what we can with what we have is the most we should expect of ourselves or anyone else. Confronting our feelings and giving them appropriate expression always takes strength, not weakness. It takes strength to talk about our feelings and to reach out for help and comfort when needed. With that being said, that is what leads me to my favorite saying ever, and that's be who you needed. Yeah. We'll read another one of these next stream. For now, I want everybody out there to be who they needed. Have a great rest of your night.